My married friend confessed his attraction to me.
Run away.
I hate that I'm here, but this has been messing with my head. My friend, 26 male, and I, 25 female, have been friends since the 6th grade. We've always been pretty close. He asked me out once or twice in high school, but I said no. Once or twice, mostly because I wasn't allowed to date. By the way, this comes from Clementine1812, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit, and we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers, we only know what we'd do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, there was never any romantic implication of interest after that. Fast forward to now, we've both been married for about 2 years. Attended each other's weddings, I hang out with his wife regularly. He hangs out with my husband regularly. We go on double dates. It's always been super fun and normal. He and his wife have been open with my husband and me that they are hoping to have kids next year. A few nights ago, my friend and I were both up late texting, which isn't unusual for us since we've been friends for a decade and a half. He generally works the graveyard shift at his job, and I've had insomnia my whole life. We were talking about a show we both like, and I was like, oh, dude, you need to see my new themed after the show sweatpants I just got, and sent him a photo just of the sweats because I was wearing them. He then asked if there was a matching shirt, to which I said, nope. And he asked me to show what top I was wearing anyway.
Why?
Simmer down, buddy.
Why are
Simmer
we doing
down.
that? Married.
It wasn't appropriate, so I declined. No, at that point, that's like a full-on conversation. That's not just like, no.
Yeah, that's like what are you doing?
What are you doing?
You are married.
I'm going to talk to my husband about this and your wife.
Yeah.
Why did you think that was an acceptable comment to make? Back in 2018, I went through a really rough breakup. This is relevant, bear with me. And was just generally making a lot of crappy decisions, one of which directly impacted him. I don't have any memory of this, although I believe him. But he randomly brought up that I sent him a certain type of photo back then and that he rode that high for a month. He told me this after saying, well, it's not like I haven't already seen it. And that's when we stopped the friendship and say, oh, sorry, can't be friends with you anymore because you keep violating boundaries.
That's so icky.
And asked me again to share what top I was wearing. And again, I said no. At that point, he told me that he's essentially been in love with me since middle school and that he's happy in his marriage and knows I'm happy in mine, but that he's always wondered deep down what would have happened if we got together. Dude.
Go tell your wife that.
Dude.
Go tell your wife that right now.
It threw me for a loop. I've never had any indication of this, or maybe I'm just oblivious. And he went on to tell me how much he's fantasized about me and things like that.
Ah. Ah.
I didn't want things to get more awkward than they were, so it was a lot of, dang, that's crazy, dude.
No, it's a lot of, hey, I have your wife's phone number.
Hey, I'm texting your wife. Yeah, it shouldn't just be, dang it, that's crazy.
Yeah.
The next day, he texted me and asked how I was doing. But I told him I felt a little weird and that he had come very close to crossing a line, but didn't cross it.
He crossed
it.
What do you mean?
He crossed it.
He fully crossed it.
He crossed that line. He danced over that line. What are you talking about, OP? If I was OP's partner and found out that OP's friend had sent this to her and she didn't tell me,
oh,
ooh, I'd be
yeah.
like, oh, sorry. What do you mean
No.
that line wasn't crossed?
That
'Cause
line
my
was
line
crossed.
crossed.
What's the line from Surf's Up?
Stepped on me. Stepped on me. He's practically dancing on me. That's what you were doing on that line.
Nice.
He said he agreed and apologized and said he didn't want anything to change in our marriages or our friendship. Too frickin' bad.
I guarantee you, if Opie said, no, let's do it.
Yeah,
No,
he'd be like,
let's do that urge. You'd be like, okay.
okay. Do you think that the wife knows that OP had previously sent him a photo in their past?
I don't know. And to just leave it that night and move on. Y'all are both the a-holes now.
To your partners.
Yeah, TBH. I agreed. And then to end the conversation, he told me that if I ever wanted to hear more about his private thoughts about me, to let him know. He's on the other side. This is you. This is you.
He's
this is
dancing
him. This
on
is the
it.
line. He's been over here for the whole story.
He went past you.
Dancing all
He's
over
over
it,
here.
He went
past
past
you.
you.
He's like, hey, if you ever want to hear about my thoughts, and you're like trying to talk to him over here, but
Well
he's over
beyond
behind
it.
you. He is past this line.
He's behind me, isn't he?
He's right behind me, isn't he?
Obviously, I don't plan to take him up on that, but I don't really know how to move forward with this information.
Tell your husband.
Tell your husband. I still really value the friendship. He's one of my longest lasting friends. I've never been in a situation like this. That's not true. And it's weird. I'd love to get some advice. You have been in a situation like this because
With
he's
him.
done it before.
And also, he fully just threw away this friendship. It wasn't like he is ending it. End it.
You
Get out of here.
literally said that he's done this once or twice, which you know how many times he's done it. It's probably 3 times,
Yeah.
if we're being honest. So you already know that he'd probably do this again, or, that he felt like this.
At this point, I'm thinking you have the same feelings.
Yeah,
And
man.
you want this to go that way.
If you sent him something, allegedly.
Also, not gonna lie, even before we went on, the fact that the way she described the pajama pants photo, I was already immediately like, that's weird.
Yeah,
Even my guy friends that I've had for 10 plus years would never get a picture of the pants I was wearing.
yeah. Comment 1. Must be really weird thinking of him alone in his bedroom, thinking of you. Personally, I'd step back from late night texting, as it would appear this just seems to encourage him. And as you're both married, I'd put strict boundaries up so he's clear exactly where you stand. I literally would tell him that he needs to tell his wife. He loves you.
Yeah. Tell your husband, and then together,
Yes.
you guys can all go tell the wife.
Yay!
Yay!
Reply, I really don't understand how some people are so naive that they think that doing this is just innocent and normal. There is one person who I text late at night, and that is my girlfriend. Reply, I text my brother and sister-in-law late, I text my cousin late, and I text several of my friends, both men and women, late. I'm a night owl, so are some of the people in my circle. I also have 4 kids, so focusing on conversations at normal times is next to impossible. There are plenty of reasons to text at night that aren't trying to F someone. I agree with that. I
Yeah.
will say, I don't think the time is the problem.
The
It's the
conversations are
content.
different. Yeah.
It's the content.
Those conversations could be more like catching up or planning stuff, not
Yes.
show me what your top looks like.
Yeah. The time has really nothing to do with it. It's the content of the message.
Yeah.
Comment 2, he definitely crossed a line. Reply says, right? I'm just sitting here like, how did he not cross a line? He's openly inviting her to have an affair, and the only reason it hasn't gone there is because OP declined his blatant invitations to spicy text. A mess waiting to happen. If either spouse finds out about this on their own, it's gonna blow up in both of their faces. Reply says, I was curious what the line is in OP's mind. Such an unfair place for her to be put in, and she still didn't want to hurt his feelings. She let him down gently, assured him he didn't cross a line, told him how much she valued him. Gently letting a guy down means in his mind that it's okay to keep going. It will happen again.
Yeah.
Dang, that's crazy, isn't shutting someone down. He is hoping Opie is curious, and if she keeps him in her life, he will try and try again until she forces it to stop. Such an unfair position for a friend to put someone in. And edit from OP for clarity, because I wrote this in the middle of the night when I was exhausted. I'm frequently up late at night. This wasn't some weird one-off sneaky thing. I work long days, so most of my interactions with people happen at night. When I was 18 in 2018, I was kind of throwing myself at everyone. My friend wasn't special, LOL. There's never been any indication of interest from him since high school until a few nights ago. He has not repeatedly said things like this, and I had honestly forgotten he'd even asked me out in high school until this conversation.
You said he does repeatedly do this. Also, I just realized that OP is my age.
Yeah.
He was 18 in 2018. That's my age. I'm like, how are you doing this at this ripe
Yeah.
age of mid-20s?
Yeah, I have never seen him as more than a friend despite my crazy phase as an 18-year-old. I don't really care, OP, because he sees you as more than a friend, and you're
Yeah.
not putting a stop to it, so it doesn't really matter what you think. Yes, he did ask me out in high school. Most high school crushes don't last a full lifetime. And since he never brought it up again after high school, even when I was vulnerable, I trusted him. This all happened over Snapchat. Yikes!
Of course it did.
Of course it did. Which is the main way I communicate with everyone. I'm calling out all Snapchat users, including my multiple friends who use Snapchat.
I use Snapchat, but not to have
Weird.
conversations.
Weird.
You want to know what I use it for?
What?
To Snapchat the man sitting over there.
Oh.
I like seeing videos of my cat.
I sent him videos of Kai, and like maybe some high school, like my best friend back
Yeah.
home sends me videos from her safari job.
Yeah, you guys are weird.
I would never have a
don't
conversation.
Use that as my main form of communication. I don't call on Snapchat and be like, all right,
Right.
I'll call you
I wouldn't
on
have a
that.
conversation there. To be honest, the only reason I haven't gotten rid of it fully is because the memory exports.
I'm just joking.
Yeah.
You can use Snapchat.
No, but I'm with you that this is weird.
This is weird.
Using Snapchat as your main form of communication
It's
is
weird.
That's just
Yeah.
a weird flag. That's
And
not
the
a red
fact
flag.
that
That's
this
just a weird flag.
happened over Snapchat makes it like so much sketchier.
So much worse. So much worse. Yeah, I do agree with that. So unfortunately, none of the conversation is there anymore. So suspicious. Which I do feel bad about being the case. I should have been clearer with that in my original post apologies. Yikes. The photo of my sweatpants was close enough you could only see the fabric pattern. If that's something that would turn you on, perhaps my situation isn't where your main focus should be. My friend and I have not spoken since that second conversation, and the more time that passes, the ickier I feel about it and don't desire for the situation to happen again, and plan to enforce stricter boundaries with my friends when I feel comfortable enough to initiate contact with him. Yes, I should have shut it down rather than let him keep talking, but I also avoid awkward situations like the plague and was reeling from realizing one of my longest friendships wasn't what I thought it was. As for telling my husband, while I normally would agree, and we do have excellent communication, I genuinely don't think I'd want to know if he was in this situation if he also wasn't reciprocating. I'm worried it will just cause unnecessary anxiety and drama. I have no plans of leaving my husband. Bad.
He might want to know. And
Bad.
also, that's good communication would be telling him. You
Yeah.
should most definitely tell him.
I'm sorry, causing unnecessary drama. His friend and your friend, mutual friends, just confessed love to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something he needs to know.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
OP, you're an a-hole too. You guys are both the a-hole. This
Yeah.
is everyone sucks here.
I should say, like, we're not giving that much crap to the other guy, but that's because,
It's
like,
so
we know
clear.
that he's
be
so
clear.
clearly in the wrong.
Yeah.
We're also just now saying, like, dude, tell your husband.
Yeah, come on. Duchess Kasana says, okay, so the photo's less weird now. I do agree with that. Update. I talked to my husband about it.
Yay.
I really hope all of the comments were like, dude, what are you talking about? Talk to your husband. Talk to your husband. He told me it was weird, but seemed like a complimentary thing from the guy, and to shut things down fast if it ever happens again. My hesitation with telling my husband was exactly this. He didn't really want to hear about it. I don't like you. But you know what you should want to hear? More
What?
full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime.
I mean, sure. If he doesn't want to hear, you said you wouldn't want to hear. Maybe that's your guys' relationship, and that's how it works. Maybe you did know better on that front. But ultimately, had this happened again, I think it's good that this isn't his first time hearing about it, and he can already have the information that he needs to help you however you need. And it's not like, oh, and by the way, like, also 2 months ago this happened.
He's been in love with me.
Right.
And I didn't really tell him to stop saying that.
Right. I feel like maybe you spun the story to your husband a little bit, but
Probably.
at least he knows.
I don't like this.
Does the other guy's wife know yet?
Yeah. Is she okay
More
with that?
importantly?
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, y'all are friends with all of them.
Right.
OP said that she was friends with the wife.
Yeah.
I'd be devastated to learn that my friend knew that my partner confessed love to her.
Right.
And then she didn't tell me.
Yeah.
I'd be devastated. So
Yeah.
OP,
It's
you're
a hard
still
conversation, but it
kinda
needs to
sucky.
happen.
He asked if I felt the same way, which I do not. Then asked if I was planning to hook up with my friend. I said no. And he said, cool, well, I won. You didn't have to tell me about all that, but I'm sorry he put you in that position. Before you salty people have another heyday, yes, I was honest with him and told him everything.
Okay.
We've also discussed boundaries that both of us will be enforcing moving forward. The guy told me he talked to his wife about it. Good.
Okay.
She reached out to me asking me out for coffee to discuss further, which we will be doing tomorrow. I don't think I'll be posting any more updates, but thank you to everyone who provided helpful advice. Sorry to everyone who has enjoyed tearing a stranger to shreds, and I hope your day improves significantly.
Thanks.
That's the end of that story.
That's wild behavior.
Crazy.
I need to see if there's an update.
I'm like kind of shocked how
Please, or
laissez-faire
something in the
everyone
comments.
in this freaking story has been about everything. Are y'all still friends? Great that OP told her husband eventually. Well, are we still gonna be friends with the guy who said that he's in love with
Right.
you?
We're just
and,
like okay with this?
and he's just gonna wait around until you change your mind? I don't understand, y'all.
And are we still talking over Snapchat?
Yes. And are we still talking over Snapchat?
Maybe we should be switching to texting if clearly the photos can't be controlled.
Yeah.
I didn't want to jump to anything.
Okay.
There's no updates.
Oh, do you
Oh.
think it's like a swapperoo? Wife swap?
The white, yeah,
Mm.
like,
Oh, you think the other wife is fine with it and wants
like,
the
yeah,
husband?
exactly. Like,
Wife
no,
swap.
I'm into this. Like, we're all into this, except for you.
Yeah.
She just didn't know.
Oy, man.
Maybe she is into it. She didn't really seem that concerned.
No one seemed concerned about anything, and I don't understand them, but I guess good for you guys. But we're going to get into this next story. My friend tried to frame me for his mistake, and it backfired on him.
That's the sound.
Early in November, we went to pick up car parts after work that my friend, I'll call Aaron because his name's Aaron, and I think he's being an idiot, had bought on eBay. We had to go through some back roads to get to the property and picked it up, and all was well. By the way, this comes from Floodweight, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Dakota.
I'm Carly.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do, so let us know what you do in the comments. So OP says, it had been raining for part of the day, but really picked up when we were loading the parts, and we got to a causeway we'd passed only an hour before. It was now covered in what looked like half a meter of water, and we stopped. I'd been navigating and knew we could back up and take another much longer route, even though the highway was just a bit on the other side of the causeway. There was no way I'd go through the water as it looked right now. But because I'd been caught on a causeway 20 years ago in less water and had my car pushed off into the river, I didn't want to risk it. I didn't lose that car, but it's one of the scariest moments of my life.
Yeah, it's really hard to tell how deep standing water is.
Yeah. Let's not test it. I said we had to turn back and could take a different road 10 kilometers around, but that would take us via a bridge over the same river. Aaron decided to push on and started moving. That is not a decision that he should make just kind of without everyone's, agreement. Aaron decided to push on and started moving, and I panicked and got straight out. It was far more water than I'd had to go through when I nearly lost my car and life before. I got out well before the water got through, so I didn't let water in the car, by the way. Aaron didn't even get halfway across, and the water pushed his car off the side, rolled it completely over, and it ended up right on the bank 50 meters downstream. I would literally like maybe never drive with this guy again, / also maybe never be his friend again. If I said, hey, let's not do that, that is incredibly dangerous. And he said, no, it's fine. He was extremely lucky not to drown, and I ran down and helped him out. Immediately, he was aggressive and combative because he said with my weight in the car, he could have easily have made it across.
That's not true.
That's not how that works. That's not how that works.
Come on.
I'm sorry, he's mad at you because you wanted to get out of the car that immediately flipped over? Admittedly, I'm 130 kilograms, but his car is 1,650 kilograms, Commodore wagon with a couple hundred kilograms of eBay parts in the back. So it's not like I'd have made much of a difference. We phoned for help, and the river went down within an hour and made it across the causeway by foot. We haven't spoken since, and he's avoided me in places we usually go.
Can you believe that all he needed to do is wait an hour?
Wait an
Instead,
hour.
He made a decision where his car flipped and is
Yeah,
unusable.
presumably now lost that car.
Presumably.
Yeah.
I would assume that's a total loss.
Yeah. But on Friday, I received a letter from a lawyer I know is real in our town, but it sounds like it was written by my friend. It's asking for $50,000 for the car and personal damages because I made the car unsafe by getting out. That is such an easy case to win. Oh my goodness, what an easy case to win.
Is this in court or civil claims?
I have no, it just says lawyer. It was a 1997 Commodore, maybe worth $1,500 on a good day. Someone reassure me it's not up to me to sit in someone's car when they're doing something dumb, is it? No, I'm sorry. If you went to a freaking theme park and there was like a loose screw or something, and they were like, oh, no, you can't get out because your weight, if you get out, though, it'll just imbalance the thing. And be like, no, I'm not going to stay in the broken roller coaster. So why would you stay in a car that you knew was unsafe to go through?
This is just clearly more evidence that this guy's a freaking idiot.
Yeah. Relevant comments, Wolf C. Alone says, so what I gather from this, friend wants to cross River Wash Road. You say it's a bad idea. He says, nah, mate, I'm doing it. You get out at fear of your own safety. Friend drives in and car washes away. Your friend blames you because 130 kilograms could have saved it. Yeah, that sounds like a crock of crap. I don't think you are liable for crap. However, I would consult an attorney for legal advice pertaining to this situation. You were in imminent danger and acted on it by ensuring your own safety. There's nothing wrong with that. However, do not repost responses here and show them what people say to you. You could be liable for reasons or even be incriminated. OP says, yeah, that's what happened. I got carried away in a moment of salivating over internet justice. I won't say anything to him about this post. And Deleted says, your probably ex-friend is an idiot. Hasn't he seen the if it's flooded, forget it adverts the bloody police put out every time there's a decent amount of rain? It's unlikely that an actual solicitor would have written such a letter of demand given how patently ridiculous this claim is, but you'll want to double check that's actually the case by calling them directly using a number taken from their website. If they did actually write the letter, just hang tight until you're actually served with a lawsuit. Get a solicitor of your own at that point. If they didn't write it and you're feeling petty, uttering false documents is an actual criminal offense, so you could dob them into the police. Personally, I'd drop this idiot like a hot spud. Not only did they try to risk your life, they're now trying to extort money from you because they played stupid games and won a stupid prize. Witty and Pithy says, I used to practice law in NSW. I am no longer authorized to practice there, and this cannot be relied upon as legal advice, but general advice to inform your next steps. Observe whether the letter of demand states due date and whether they provided you with time to reply. If you do not comply with those dates, then the next step for Aaron is to follow statutory process for reassuring the letter of the demand and until eventually bringing a claim to court for a debt owing. I recommend you look to NSW statute on the letter of demand process. It details the time periods and process. Do not contact the lawyer or speak to Aaron or write or say anything to them or other people around them. Do not try to write to them about your version of events. If I was advising a client, I would instruct them to delete any Reddit post as well, as it is relevant evidence that can be used to cross-examine any written evidence you wish to provide and may undermine your credibility as a witness. Given a formal dispute, maybe a he said, she said situation, your reliability as a witness is important. You should retain a lawyer promptly who will draft a response to the letter of demand and provide you with counsel. OP says there's no due date or info about a time to reply, just a statement that because of my actions, their client is out a total of $50,000 and I need to pay it. That is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous.
And it's not in any way your fault.
No.
That's insane.
I don't even know. Like, it's insane that a lawyer would even take that case on.
I don't even know if I wonder if this guy really even used a lawyer, if he just like chat GPT like the document that he would need to send to like start it.
Maybe. There's nothing about court or how to pay or when. Makes me think it's more likely a fake. I won't contact Aaron about it or ask him to read over this thread in the case I want to save myself money and just send a copy to the lawyers involved and say, can I get you to validate that this was sent from you? Is that likely to be a risk, or should even that go through a lawyer I pick? I recognize that might be going beyond what you're allowed to advise. I'll probably hit up a lawyer of my own this week. And there is an update, folks, but do you have any thoughts before jumping in?
Yeah, I think if you want to avoid the legal headache, I would just like not even bother with talking to a lawyer, and I'd just be like, hey, I talked to a lawyer and this document's fraudulent and we're going to prosecute you for it.
Yeah.
And then he'll probably just disappear from your life. So
that would be great.
You skip off the nonsense legwork. I doubt you even if you tried to sue this guy for like, I don't know, damages against you, he probably will never pay up. So it's I
doubt he has the money to pay out.
Yeah, just scare him a little bit and then move on with your life.
There is an update, NSW Australia. I went to a lawyer my parents had used a few years ago and they recommend it. She took one look at the letter from my friend Aaron's lawyers and said she has concerns about it and she'd respond. She contacted his lawyer and my lawyer mailed me to tell me Aaron's lawyers aren't his lawyers at all, but to contact her if I heard more. Otherwise, no need for more action. Yep, he lied. Yeah, because that was such a bogus claim.
Yeah.
But you know it's not bogus. Listening to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime.
I know that's right.
But there is a little bit left to this story. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, I'm sorry that your friend turned out to be this guy.
Yeah, it turned out to suck.
Some people would rather throw away an entire friendship
For
than
$50,000.
instead of just being like, I was wrong.
I'm sorry, shouldn't have gone into that flood.
Yeah.
Aaron had apparently faked up the letter and admitted as much to me yesterday when he finally decided to talk to me. He wants me to retract my complaint to his lawyers about him using their letterhead. I hadn't complained to them myself, so I did the time-honored thing and told him to go pound sand. But it might have rhymed with go eat a bag of wieners. Comments from the subreddit. Comment 1 says, oh no, consequence. Reply says he was trying to shift the blame onto OP and made himself the victim in the process. Too bad it was as flimsy as his fraud letter. Hopefully he ends up in even more debt and no empathy. What kind of crappy friend is this? Comment 2 says, lawyers tend to get really mad when people impersonate them. This ain't just F around and find out. This is glitter glue is not a snack level of stupid. Comment 3 says, as soon as I saw Aaron and driving across a flooded area, I was like, these have to be some of the people where I grew up with from in rural NSW, Australia. So many stories here every effing year whenever we get excessive rainfall and floods about some stupid guy going, oh yeah, nah mate, only a few inches of water. Hey, it'll be all right. Next minute, another story on one of the news channels about some guy in a car or truck literally dragged underwater from his own stupidity. I swear they all think they're top crap, and it never happens to them, and it always does. Aaron is so freaking lucky he actually survived. NOP, props to you, mate. You've got actual common sense for bailing. Also, to top it all, what an absolute dumb move for faking a lawyer's letter. I'm amazed he even could write a letter that's legible. Far out. Reply says, there's one street here in Los Angeles that floods every time it rains, and every single time someone gets stuck in the water, to the point that news crews set up cameras to catch the idiots. Yeah, I mean, LA's just not built for flooding.
Not built
So
for
yeah,
water.
people do not do well when it rains.
We
But
gonna
folks,
keep making
that's the end of that story. I have a life-threatening disease, and I don't know how to tell my friend.
Oh no.
I recently got diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer that somehow went undetected before. I have up to 3 months to live, according to the doctor. I could try treatments, but it's gonna be expensive as heck, and at most it's only gonna extend my life by a few more months before I pass away anyways. By the way, this comes from Agreeable Mind 3918 and Motor Dry Explorer 3058. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Carly.
We're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. OP says, so I decided I'd just take it and face it head on. My best friend since forever and his wife finally got pregnant after 8 years of trying with no luck. And they're genuinely the happiest I've ever seen them. He knows I was in the hospital and they came to check on me multiple times. I just told them they shouldn't bother and that it wasn't serious. I didn't want to make one of the happiest times of both of their lives sad because of me. I know it's going to happen eventually when I do go, and I know it's going to destroy him because we're genuinely closer to each other than we are to our own siblings. He already told me that I'm going to be his daughter's godfather. And I genuinely hope I get to see her at least once before I go. Oh, I'm going to cry. I'm
going to both of us today.
I'm single with no children, and I'm planning to split my estate to give some to my older sister and set up college funds for her 3 children, who I love very much. I also want to give something to my parents, something to my friend, and set up a little college fund for their future baby daughter. I'm writing a long, personalized letter to a lot of my family and friends, and I'm writing his now. I can't stop crying. I'm apologizing for keeping this a secret, and I said I didn't want to take the spotlight. I wrote that I love him and his wife, and that I know their daughter would be the most loved baby in the world. But I'm wondering if this is the right thing to do, or if it hurt him even more when I go. Should I just tell him? But there are some comments, which we'll get into in a moment. But what do you think?
Oh wow. Yeah, I mean,
I think it's a super difficult decision, and don't feel pressured to do anything
Yeah.
that you don't want to do, because it is completely your decision. However, I think if you don't have a lot of time left, I think your friend would be very sad, obviously, but probably appreciate those 3 months and
Yeah.
spending more time with you now that he if he knew
Right.
that
I
he
feel
was
like
able,
knowing could prompt the like, well, let's hang out a bit
more being more
more.
intentional with
Yeah.
your time. Yeah, because it's really, really hard, and nothing is gonna make this easier.
Yeah.
He's not gonna take it well.
Right. And he's going to be sad either now or
Yeah.
in months from now. So
but
I don't
having
think
that
that it's wrong
time.
to start
Yeah.
him knowing.
Notable comment says, "It's your life, but I guarantee you he'll wish he'd known when you were gone so he could have said a proper goodbye. I've had friends experience this when a loved one didn't tell them the end was near, and it destroyed them emotionally to just wake up to learn they were gone. That's the thing. I know it'll destroy him when he gets that call, but I also don't like people feeling sorry for me. Outside of my parents and sister, nobody knows yet." This is OP now.
Yeah.
And another comment says, "Bro, I need to be honest with you. I know the feeling of not wanting to be a burden, but trust me, the feeling he will have knowing you didn't tell him will be much more painful." And there is an update. I think
Yeah.
you got it. I think you should tell him. Almost all of you suggested telling him about it, and y'all gave me perspectives I honestly didn't think about. I did it last night. Right now, it's 6 a.m. over here, but last night after I posted it and got most of your messages, I called him. He answered on the second ring, and I just broke down and started crying. I told him everything about why I was really in the hospital, about my diagnosis, and the fact I have up to 3 months to live. He broke down and called me a beaster and a liar and told me to stop effing with him. Then he hung up, but 15 minutes later, he came over still in his pajamas, and we just hugged and cried. I showed him my medical records and reports, and I showed him the post and the comments. He called me crazy and a damn idiot for even thinking about not telling him. He said he'd have hated me and himself if I had passed away without telling him beforehand. He said I'm more important to him than a million babies. We stayed up the entire night just talking about life, reliving memories, laughing and crying. He even took a video of us just talking. And he asked if I really wanted to leave something to him and his daughter. And I said yes. I joked that I wouldn't be needing the money anyway and that I'm basically throwing it in the trash. And he laughed like it was the funniest thing ever. He left because his wife had an early doctor appointment. I begged him before that I didn't want any pity or sadness from him or anyone else. And he said, which I'd never cry for you, even after crying himself the entire night. He hugged me, told me to get some sleep and rest because we have a long day today. I asked what he meant, and he said I'd see. So yeah, I feel like a huge weight was lifted off me, and it's mainly thanks to all of you. Thanks again. And comments from OP, yeah, I love him to my last breath. Pun intended. No homo, though. It's a joke. He honestly flirts with me, probably more than he does with his wife. She actually has my number saved as side chick. Knowing him, he'd put the worst picture of me ever there, which is why I'm leaving my funeral planning solely to my parents. It's definitely not easy knowing you're passing away soon, especially since I'm 28. I thought I'd have much more time, but it is what it is, I guess. I'm glad too. I'm just really sad I won't be there to comfort him when I'm passed away because I know he'd be destroyed. There is another update. We're just going to get into that. So there was no doctor's appointments. Instead, he had his wife bake me this family recipe cake that I absolutely love, and they came over at around 10 a.m. with the cake. His wife gave me the biggest mama bear hug and cried and said she loves me and asked if it was true, and I said yeah. And we sat down and cried. They were crying for me, but I was crying because the cake was so gosh dang good. They then took me out for a family fun day, and it was honestly so good. We went to the mall and watched the Conjuring movie in the cinema because we all love horror, and we even did karting. Just me and my friend, though, because she's too pregnant for this. They took me to my favorite restaurant and refused to let me pay for anything the entire day. We then went to a beach and watched the sun go down, and we just talked more about it, and we cried some more. I told them when I'm passed away, I don't want them to be sad at all for me, or else I'd haunt them forever. And I told them to love their baby daughter extra hard for me. And they filmed multiple videos of me saying they wanted to remember my voice. which honestly hit me really hard. They told me they wanted me to move in with them until I go because they wanted as much time with me as possible and would love having me around. And honestly, it's perfect timing because my lease literally ends 2 weeks from now.
OP, you're funny though.
OP, you got jokes. They said they don't want to leave me alone, so they're both sleeping at my place tonight. And we're giving my bed to his wife, and we're taking the couches. I'm just going to lead right into this. By the way, you can listen to full episodes of stories not quite as sad as this on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio, and search up OK Storytime. But there is a little bit left to this story.
I've got nothing more to add. We're both trying not to cry.
Yeah, I'm like, I still have to read. I can't cry. There's really nothing that you can do.
But
I think that you did everything.
Was the tell him, and you did.
Yeah,
and I'm so happy you did.
Me too. It seems like you got you're getting a lot of time to spend with them. And I'm sure that he'll appreciate that for the rest of his life. Yeah, and you'll still be, his daughter's godfather. And she'll grow up knowing all of these wonderful things about you, and having those videos. I don't wish this sickness on my worst enemy, but honestly, I'm feeling so lucky and loved right now. They literally would not leave me alone, and honestly, I couldn't be any happier. I just wish I'd get to meet their baby at least once before I pass away. And it's possible because she's in her 7th month. Tomorrow, I'm planning to go and tell the rest of my closest family and friends. Again, thanks for all your nice words to me. OP says, LMAO, you think ghosts are real? I want to be a ghost so bad and just F with them after I pass away. They're not letting me go easy. My friend took the entirety of next week off work for this crap. They're not letting me sleep, LMAO. They want to keep doing crap. They say they want every last minute possible, and I couldn't be happier. Today, we filmed way too many videos of us, mainly me doing so much stupid crap and just having fun. They've filmed a video of me talking to Emily, which is what they're calling her. And I was talking about the time me and her dad ended up in a police station on Christmas Eve. I wish I got to tell her these stories alive, but oh well. Thanks. Yes, they're wonderful people, and I just know that little girl would be so loved. They say I'm a test run for them as parents. And that's the end of the story.
My friend said I didn't deserve my child, then expected me at their baby shower.
God, what do you mean I don't deserve my child?
When I was pregnant with my first child 2 years ago, I had a really heavy feeling that I had to keep my pregnancy journey quite discreet because 2 of my friends, they are married, had difficulty with theirs. By the way, this comes from Little White Raven. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Savannah.
I'm Angie.
And we are here to give some good advice, but we're going to give it in a very goofy manner.
Indeed.
Indeed. We would only tell you what we would do in this really weird situation, but let us know what you would do in this really cool situation. That's right, I switched it up for you guys. You're welcome. As OP says, when my fiance and I were expecting, it was obvious that they were hurt and that after each encounter with us, they would cry themselves to sleep. So whenever we were together, I wouldn't bring up the pregnancy or even all the great new thrills I was living. I don't have much friends, so it hurt me inside a lot not to be able to appreciate the moment as much. But I didn't want to hurt them just because baby was existing inside me. But they talked to other friends of ours and said awful things such as the child was an accident. It wasn't. I prepared my body for everything, and it just happened on the first try. They don't deserve a child as much as us. I literally waited my entire life just to begin my own family since mine was broken since even before birth. I remember I used to cry myself to sleep several times thinking about them, also because I always daydreamed about our children growing up together, whether they adopt or use other medical options. But they were just mean. I always tried to calm my fiancé down by telling him that they are hurt and that they don't actually mean it. But it still hurt, and once confronted, they still didn't actually apologize. Something that I won't forget. When we introduced baby to our friend group for the first time, it wasn't at home. They never acknowledged it. Not even a hello, baby. They just straight up acted as if it never existed. That night, I cried again.
Oh my God. You invite these people over to be like, hello, look at my new baby. Look at the baby I just
They're like,
made.
what? Where?
And they're
I
like,
don't see no baby.
so
Baby,
how
who?"
about that weather?
So how about that game last night, huh?
Right. That sucks because it's like obviously we know that this is because of their own grief that they've been going
it's
through.
a sore subject for them.
Right. But at the same time, it's like if you know that you can't give that support to your friend, you gotta acknowledge that and kind of
Yeah.
warn your friend. Like at least say like, I'm very happy for you, but I unfortunately can't celebrate that right now because I'm just going through my own thing.
Yeah.
I'm very sorry. I just can't.
And that, like, if it is communicated, I think, okay, cool. Then you can let that go.
Yeah.
But if they're not communicating and then talking behind your back, saying you don't
Yes.
even deserve this, that's not a
Yes.
friend. That's not a friend. That's not an acquaintance. That's a mortal enemy right there.
For real.
They're praying for your downfall. Like, excuse me? Just because you went through something traumatic and now I am not going through the same thing as you, I have to feel bad about it?
Yeah.
Screw you. The next time they brought a gift, but they never actually said sorry. Anyway, now the couple is expecting maybe twins. They had an insemination. They told us first. I hugged them, gave them a small gift I prepared for this day, baby clothes and stuff, because I consider myself their friend and congratulated them. Now I have this sinking feeling inside because all the things I didn't get to do wholeheartedly because it was hurting them. They'll celebrate it publicly and loudly. They love to show themselves. I know that it's my fault for not celebrating as much as I should have, but they were really hurt and it hurt me just as much. Girl, that's not your fault. Like, you were being a kind friend and not making it like a big, huge deal because you knew that this was a sore subject for your friends. And obviously, like, you censored yourself around them because you are a good friend.
Yeah.
They, on the other hand, are talking crap about you behind your back on your big life-changing moment.
Right. Right. And I mean, I think like yes, I mean, I see what you're saying, OP. Like, sure, you could have still celebrated if you just ignored them, but like, you didn't want to do that. Like you're saying, you wanted to be a good friend, and also too, they were making you feel bad about it. So
Right?
So it's kind of like, I mean, you did the best that you can. I think really what we just need to do with this is just reflect on what that friendship is, because obviously you are being a very good friend to them, and maybe they have been a good friend to you in the past, but in a situation like this, it's just unfair, and it's definitely something that you can't just move past very easily.
Oh, for sure.
Especially not with a conversation or
And-
without a conversation.
And without an apology. They
Yeah.
have yet to apologize for any of these things.
Yeah, let's sit them down. Let's talk to them,
Yeah.
please.
Be like, what's up, friend?
Right.
So now I'm just thinking about not going to their baby shower when it's going to come up. Not out of a petty move, but because I'll be extremely hurt. I've learned to stand up for myself a little bit, so I know that I'll tell them my reasons one way or another, but I feel bad because I'm supposed to support them as a friend. So, would I be the a-hole if I don't attend their baby shower because they said my pregnancy was an accident that I didn't deserve? There's an update.
Oh, there's an update?
There's an update.
Oh my gosh. I mean, okay, so obviously no. I think you do need to say something about it though.
I think just be like, hey, even making up like an excuse not to go. I mean, even though like might cause more problems, but just maybe having the conversation of like, hey, remember when I was pregnant and how you reacted?
Yeah.
I'm starting to feel that again. And
Yeah.
and I just wanted to bring that up and make sure we're all like having a healthy conversation about it. Here's the update. Not actually an update, but I wanted to thank everyone commenting. I really didn't expect this much attention. I actually cried reading all of your comments, and I told my fiance also that I won't go to their baby shower, and he is 1000% on my side. I know that we'll be able to tell them our reasons of why and that it's totally justified, but I also know that it's not going to be easy because, as one of you said, they will try and say that we can't be happy for them to our other friends. I won't ghost them, but I definitely won't be as present for them. My fiance and I already know that they'll compare their children with ours with even everyday accomplishments. They actually already do it with us, buying a house, new car, renovations, etc. As another one of you said, it's exhausting. By the way, we have an exhausting amount of episodes for you to listen to. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, or your favorite podcast app and just search up OK Storytime. And you can exhaust yourself into oblivion with comedy. There's a little bit left. Final thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like we got some narcissies over here.
Yep, I would also agree with that.
Yeah, and yeah, that's a good point. We don't want our kids around that either.
So I mean, basically, I think that you did the right thing, OP, and you stood up for yourself, and you did what you wanted, and I don't think you would have had a good time if you would have went there. So
Yeah,
I
exactly.
completely agree with you doing what you need to do in order for you to be in a better mind space. My fiance made the effort to keep a relationship with them for me. He is deeply hurt by the situation, but unlike me, he isn't a people pleaser, I guess. I truly am grateful to have him. Our first year with baby sure wasn't easy, but he was way more supportive than I could have hoped for. I know that you are all right about leaving them behind and understand that they're not my friends, but it truly is hard to tell myself that after having a hard time making some. But I really do know that my family and my own self comes first. I'm just heartbroken. But thank you again for your comments, and I really wish you all a beautiful life. That's the end.
I called out my friend for oversharing, and suddenly I was the problem.
Girl, you can't put that on yourself.
So I, 24 female, was on a girls' trip, and as soon as we, group of 5 other girls, ages 24 to 26, go to our place, I immediately had to shower because I spilled the drink on myself during the ride there. Dang. By the way, this comes from No Wonder 5420. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Savannah.
I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. And Opie says, one friend, Maddie, 25 female, unpacked for me since she's a sweetheart. And when I got out of the bathroom, all 5 of the girls were crowded around my suitcase. Maddie joked about me managing to pack 3 different perfumes, but forgetting to pack underwear. I don't wear underwear. Bras for support, yes. Underwear, no.
Wait, what?
I mean, I personally wear underwear, but I know some people who, find it
For sport?
for a sport.
No, bras for support.
Oh, I thought for some reason I thought I heard sport.
Bras for sport. Well, that would make
Bras
sense.
for sports. Yeah,
but then
sports bras.
but then I was like underwear? No.
No underwear.
I mean, what are you supporting down there?
My choice is because it's actually better for hygiene in my case. I'm on birth control, so no period or heavy discharge, which is where my underwear becomes beneficial for feminine hygiene. I do wear underwear when wearing dresses or skirts that aren't ankle length for obvious reasons. When I explained that it wasn't an accident, all of my friends were shocked. Not in a grossed out or judgmental way, just genuinely stunned that I walk around with no underwear. I explained how it's mostly a social norm thing and can be worse for vulva health, but they disagreed, saying they feel too exposed. Even though that wasn't my point, I just dropped it and let them joke about it. Later at a bar, I was wearing a cami top and these loose jeans with beaded decorations on them. My friend Jamie, female 26, got a little slappy and caused an incident I'll be referring to later. Basically, while we were talking to a random group of guys, the topic of textures we hate come up. One of the guys mentioned denim, which I was sort of surprised to hear, and Jamie brought up the fact that I was wearing jeans without underwear. Why would she do that?
Yeah,
That's weird.
weird.
I mean, that's
Even,
like if you were wearing underwear and she was like, "Oh yeah, OP's wearing this type of underwear," that'd be really weird too.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
She didn't do it in a mean-spirited way or to embarrass me, since that's not in her nature. It was more to push this guy's buttons, make his skin crawl at the idea of what that would feel like to him. Gross. Who cares about this guy?
Yeah.
I can understand that without knowing Jamie, it might seem like this was done in a pick-me way, but I can say with some certainty that it wasn't. I was caught off guard by her comment and said, "Girl, what the F?" or something, but laughed. Things went a little downhill after that, though. The group of guys had like a million follow-up questions regarding the no underwear thing.
Of course they did, because that's what they're going to focus on.
Okay.
Yeah. It'd be like, oh, no,
Okay.
I want to know about this. And it's
No,
like, yeah.
boy.
I'll just take off my pants right now.
Some curious, but some pretty creepy. To everyone's credit, Most of my friends, including Jamie, made fun of the guys who made the creepy comments, and when the guys in question saw that I was not receptive to it, they laid up. The night wrapped up with none of us going back to theirs or vice versa. Back at the place we were staying, I playfully called Jamie out for the incident back at the bar. But instead of apologizing or laughing it off, she got weirdly defensive, acting like I was trying to start something. When I said, "Whoa, chill, I was joking," a different friend told me to drop it, followed by, "We get it."
Is everyone just really upset that no one went home or like the guys came over? And it was because of that?
Are they just all jealous that like you got all the attention? Even if it was not necessarily the best kind of attention?
They did it to themselves. They're the ones who brought it up.
I was frustrated that the narrative had somehow shifted to me claiming that I'm better than them for not wearing underwear and refusing to shut up about it.
Also just a weird conversation starter, like an icebreaker. Like,
Yeah.
what textures bother you the most? Hi, nice to meet you.
It's so strange. I argue that Jamie brought the topic up first at the bar, but 3 out of the 5 girls, including Jamie and excluding Maddie, acted like I was the one dragging it out. Maddie, the friend who unpacked my bag for me, tried to lighten the mood by joking that they should all hide their underwear so that I don't throw everyone's out while they're asleep. And the others absolutely ran with it. I'll admit I snapped. What is going on?
Yeah.
They unpacked your bag. One, I don't know why they did that.
Yeah.
And then they made fun of you for not wearing underwear. And then they bring it up at a bar. And then you say, "Hey, that was weird that you did that." And then they're like, "Shut up." And then now they're accusing you of doing things that you wouldn't even do.
Yeah, it seems like they have the problem, and
Yeah.
then they're just like
They're just
projecting it.
jealous. I think they all don't want to wear underwear.
Yeah,
Be
don't
free,
freaking wear
girls.
it.
I felt like I was being purposely riled up and then gaslit, and ended up saying, in not the nicest way, something along the lines of, "Realizing that you have poor hygiene habits might be embarrassing, but that doesn't mean you need to shoot the messenger. Worry about your pH levels, not me." Okay.
This is so
Worry about your
weird.
pH levels.
Okay. I mean, like, I disagree with that comment, OP, but regardless, I think I understand why you blew up at them, because they were being really rude.
Yeah.
They all went really quiet, and I stormed off after cursing them out under my breath. I ended up going on a walk, coming back late, and sleeping on the couch instead of in my shared room with Maddie. By the way, you can come share full episodes with your friends if you listen to them on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio. Just search up OK Storytime. There is a little bit left to this story. Any final thoughts?
I mean, I don't know why they're so obsessed with it.
Yeah.
Like, get over it. Like, it was just, you know, like a thing. And it's also not their information to share with anyone else.
It's none of their
So,
business.
Yeah.
It's literally none of their business.
Yeah, and they're like they're throwing it out of proportion also,
Yeah.
like just to try to like find something like, and I think it's because I'm just I have a nice nature to me, and I'm just
She's got
I'm
such a
just
nice
very
nature.
I'm just too honorable.
She's too
I'm too
honorable.
honorable. And it basically, like, I feel like I'm the butt of the joke a lot of times to like
Me
my friends.
too.
I was the
But
butt of the
growing
joke.
up, I was like often like,
Me too.
yeah.
I was always.
and then
the
I would
butt
get
of the
mad,
joke.
and they'd be like, "Why are you mad?"
Yeah, and it's like, what? I don't know. You're
Yeah.
like, I know it's all in like fun natured, whatever, but I mean, at a point, like,
Yeah.
you know, the armor starts to crack, and it's like, okay, that actually, like, that's not funny.
No.
Like, please don't say that.
Oh, it made
you
me
know.
so mad.
Yeah, I was always the butt of the jokes.
Yeah.
Always.
I'm up early, hungover, and second guessing. Did I overreact? I know wearing underwear does not equal poor hygiene and that it's a lot more nuanced, but I don't know. I just hit my limit and said it in the heat of the moment. I get that.
I get that too.
In that moment, it felt fair to pay out on them since they were paying out on me. But I can't help but feel that my comments carried a very different weight. They were making fun, sure, but none of it was said to insinuate that I'm dirty while my comments did. I will agree with that. And if you still want to be friends with them, I would have a serious conversation and say, like, "I'm sorry that I said that. I don't believe that. But you did hurt my feelings."
Yeah,
you
but
did
like
go too far.
you guys won't let this go, and
Yeah.
like I don't know what I'm like. You know, it makes me think that, you know, I'm doing something wrong, which I know helps me. Like,
Yeah.
it benefits me, and I shouldn't
Really
feel bad
none
about
of your
that.
business.
Yeah, it's also none of your business.
I absolutely do not feel this way, and I think they know that, but I feel like a stupid, petty teenager with how everything went down, including how I reacted. Did I overreact? How should I address this when everyone wakes up? And that's the end of the story. I think you just sit them down and you say, "Hey, can we talk about last night?"
Take all their underwear, throw it away, show them how to be free.
Or that. Or that. That was the end of that story, folks.
My My best friend is planning to become a monk, but confessed that he likes me.
That probably won't go over well.
My friend, 20 male, and I, 20 females, entire friendship is honestly very strange. Since the first day that we met, our church friends have been shipping us. By the way, this comes from a username, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. And I'm Angie.
I'm Sophia.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only would say what we would do in this situation. But what would you do? Let us know in the comments. Right after liturgy, I found my friends with this new guy. We spoke a bit, and that was that. Our friends decided to hang out after church, and we joined them. The thing is, they are very loud in public and just overly energetic, while me and the new guy are very reserved. Whenever our friends were acting out, we gave each other a look of discomfort because it was pretty embarrassing for us since they were bothering people that wanted silence. From that day, they have been saying that we would look like a cute couple and such, but we kept our distance because it was just too awkward. Around the end of the day, we spoke a bit more and found out that we went to the same school. It was very strange since we were in the same year and never noticed each other. When I got home, I got a text from the new guy, and at the same time, my friend, 22 male, said that he gave my number to my boyfriend, mockingly. I highly struggle with avoidant attachment and have been really careful with everything since I found out that the new guy asked for my number. Since day one, he made it clear that his goal was to become a monk. I wanted nothing to do with the relationship or even being accused of it.
Wait, to be clear, new guy wants to be a monk?
Yes.
Okay.
I wanted nothing to do with the relationship or even being accused of it. Even knowing that he wanted to be a monk, I had no desire to become friends with him. He often texted me and I barely replied, though I did not take it personally since he texts everyone so much. He would ask if I was joining church events, show me chants, and so on, all church-related things, and I knew my friends got the texts too. One day I saw him at school and he noticed me too. I went up to him out of politeness and greeted him. He told me that he got promoted at his church. We go to different churches, and he invited me. He invited his classmates and our church friends too. This all happened a while back, so I'm a bit fuzzy on the timeline, but there is an important part. I once mentioned that I really liked the red and white bracelets that my friends had and wanted one too. I totally forgot about it. The day of the event came. I went to his church, but had to leave early. On the day I saw him at school, I got him a present, an icon, and a Mother Mary statue. Unknowingly, he got me something too, a Mother Mary icon and the bracelet I mentioned. I was very surprised because it was his special day. When I got home, I called my cousin, 22 male, and asked what he got. It turned out that I was the only one that got something from him. I felt special, but also confused. Our contact was still limited after that day. We spoke only to ask when we would see each other in school or church. After graduation, we randomly became super close. We started texting a lot, hanging out often, and realized that we had a lot in common. We immediately became best friends, texting for hours a day or seeing each other whenever we could, even if it was just for 30 minutes. Everyone noticed us getting close, our friends, families, churches, and before we knew it, everyone thought that we were either secretly together or hoping that we would end up together. He has always wanted to become a monk, which was perfect for me because I have no desire to marry anyone. I used to think about maybe becoming a nun or some kind of celibate theologian. My avoidant attachment makes relationships very difficult to me. I hate having friends. Somehow I can only stand him. Interesting. And the thought of being in a relationship makes me panic.
Wait, she doesn't like friends?
I guess not, even though she's got him.
Okay.
It seems.
She's like, I hate my friends.
Yeah. I also have an intense desire for perfection. It gets in the way of forming close bonds because the thought of someone seeing me as flawed makes me sick to my stomach. A relationship where someone sees the worst of me is a big no. Me and the new guy often get mistaken as a couple. We are always clinging to each other, playing around, sharing drinks and food, hugging, etc.
Girl.
God, I mean, we're just like always going on dates and kissing. Everyone sees us as a relationship, though.
I hate everyone but him.
Yeah.
She literally said, I don't like anyone but him.
You're sharing drinks and food.
Girl,
You're
come
hugging and
on.
playing around.
I really think the only reason that she's so reticent to even think about a relationship with this guy is because she has so much self-confidence issues.
100%. And
Girl,
she's like so close to figuring
you're
it out.
straight.
Too.
Go get that man.
Yeah. This week has been a bit odd. On Saturday, we went to a church in another city because the bishop would be there. After the event, we played in the park next to the church with the kids, doing little parkour and games. There was a sliding pole thing. I went on it and he filmed me. Then he got on it and I filmed him. That evening, he told me that he felt conflicted. He really wants to become a monk, but he keeps thinking about how everyone ships us. He even admitted that he thinks that he would fit really well with me, but brushes it away. I did not really know how to reply, so I just listened. On Sunday, he sent me the video where I was playing on the playground. I told him that he had already sent it, and he confessed that he knew, but he kept watching it because he found it cute. Days have passed, and here is some inside info. Me and him always shook hands when saying goodbye. Interesting. On Tuesday at church.
I'm sorry. You're going. Hey, bye. Bye. See, bye. Oh, you can't even see it.
Oh, man.
We just shook hands.
Yeah. Like you're hugging each other normally and sharing food and drinks and playing around and
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah,
but,
yeah.
but you're like, okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
Good day.
Good day to you,
Good
sir.
day to you, sir. A little bit of a tip of the hat and a curtsy. On Tuesday at church, I hugged my friends who are guys goodbye because they were leaving for the monastery for a few days. When I got home, the new guy said that he felt jealous that I hugged them, but always shook his hand. I found it odd because I'm not usually jealous over friends. It is hard for me to understand the situation because I'm extremely distant and do not really enjoy having friends, so I do not know what the boundaries are or what is considered normal. Today, Wednesday, he again told me about his conflicting thoughts. We have this thing where we say the exact same thing. It happened
God.
5 times in 15 minutes.
Oh
Guys,
my
you guys
God.
are literally in love with each other. It's so obvious.
I think you guys need some inside info from us.
Yeah, I think newsflash.
Yeah.
You guys are perfect for each other.
You're perfect for each other, and you're the only people that like. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Come on.
Come on. It happened 5 times in 15 minutes. That's crazy. I mentioned how odd it is, and he said, yeah, I'm conflicted about something. Then explained that he keeps thinking about what our friend said the first day we met. Maybe God does not want him to become a monk.
That's so funny. God, I saw you on that
It's so
poll, and I
funny.
don't think God wants
Yeah.
me to become a monk.
I think that was a sign from God.
I think that was a sign from God.
Yeah, I can't stop watching this video. I think that's just what God is putting on my heart right now.
I
is
keep
that
feeling things when I watch this video, and I don't think God wants me.
I think that's God that I'm feeling.
Yeah.
But he thinks it is just a distracting thought since we are just church friends. He ended his text with, but on the other hand, I don't know. But what I do know is that you can listen to full episodes with more stories just like this one on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or whatever favorite podcast app you choose. Just search OK Storytime. We'll be there. There is a little bit more to the story, but this is so funny.
What I know is that you guys are in love with each other.
Yes.
I'm sorry, everyone else in the whole freaking school can see it.
Yes. Everyone. Everyone.
But
from the start.
you, baby, you guys are in love. You're in love.
Yeah, you're definitely
Justin
definitely in
Bieber,
love.
you're in love.
And it's so it's so funny but sweet and enduring how he's just like, yeah, I'm just so conflicted. I mean, everyone says that we should be together. I just can't stop thinking about
That's
that.
crazy. I mean, we shouldn't, right?
Right. I told him to speak to his priest, which I will be doing too. He asked if his priest was free this Sunday, and I have an appointment with my priest this Saturday. Honestly, my obsession with perfection really gets in the way of relationships, so I'm definitely going to ask advice on that from my priest, and perhaps even seek a therapist if it's that bad. I feel like it is that bad.
It's that bad.
This is great that you're reaching for help. Woo! I really need some outside perspective on this since the only people I talk to know him. For some extra notes, yes, we're strict Christians, but not the way that America makes it seem. We believe in things like therapy. Hugging the opposite gender is also very common, and we don't consider every little thing a sin. Orthodox Christianity is not what modern Christianity has become. And there are some comments. Comment number 1 says, God forbid religious people admit that they are human and let themselves be happy. Opie says, God forbid religious people have a different goal in life that'll make them happy. What's wrong with our goals being religious?
There's nothing wrong with that.
I think these religious goals are totally fine. I mean,
If you wanted to be a monk, go for it. If you want to be a
for
nun, go for it.
sure.
From everything I read in this story, that is not the case.
Yeah, exactly. I think they're so close to figuring this out.
Yeah.
And,
Just need a little more
possibly,
push.
right, because of their strict religious upbringing, I'm sure that's where her seek
Mhm.
for perfection comes from.
Absolutely.
And her pressure for that. So hopefully talking to the priest will help. I'm sure
yeah,
some
I'm
good
really
advice will come.
hoping that the priest is like, you guys are in love.
Yeah, like it's chill. You guys you're not a nun or monk yet.
Yeah.
You're good.
You're good, man.
You haven't done that yet. So it's so cute because this
So
stuff
cute.
feels like such little high school, like, oh, I don't know how
Yeah.
friends are supposed to act with each other. I don't know, like,
Yeah.
this kind of stuff. Which obviously, I mean, I'm sure I dealt with stuff like that recently out of high school too. But I mean, I'm sure, I'm assuming with their upbringing that maybe they just haven't like been able to think about this stuff yet. And it's just so sweet seeing this happen. I hope you guys end up together.
I hope so.
That's
Crossing
the
my
end of the-
finger- No.
Yeah, that's the end of the story.
No.
But I really hope we get an update on
I
talking
think
to
they're
the
gonna
priest
figure it
works out.
I think they're gonna figure it out.
Yeah, I
Because
kind of
they're
want to
like
check for an
so
update.
close. Me
They're
too.
they're so close. They just seem to need like approval from other people.
Yes, they just need someone else to be like, you. God's chill with
like
it.
you're good, guys.
You're good.
You're good. You're good.
Yeah. My friend chose my mother's side over me. Now I feel betrayed.
Oh, that's strange.
So I, 17 male, just got my license a couple of months ago, and I was super excited to finally have some freedom and be able to drive places with my friends. One of the big things we had been planning was going to this roller coaster park that's about a 2-hour drive away. By the way, this comes from Abel Locksmith 9516, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia,
I'm Carly.
and we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, when I told my mom about my plans, she said she didn't want me to go. She said it was too far of a drive for someone who's still a new driver. I tried to tell her that it would be a good driving experience and something fun and memorable to do before we graduated, but she didn't budge. I was frustrated, but at the same time, I get that. She's my mom, and her whole job is to worry about my safety, so I wasn't that mad at her. Yeah.
I could also get that, like, maybe driving 2 hours away and potentially getting stuck
Yeah,
because
there's a
you're
lot
a
of
new
different
driver.
reasons.
You maybe get some more driving experience before that.
Yeah, I think that's a reasonable thing for her to be like,
Yeah.
maybe we're gonna wait. And that we wouldn't get to have this fun road trip I had planned. Later that night, I messaged my friends. I just let them know that the whole thing was off because my mom said no, and I was basically venting a little. Most of my friends responded how I expected. Yeah, that sucks, basically. But one of my friends, let's call him Jim, said that we should respect my mom's decision because she just wants us to be safe. Okay, Jim.
As
Aw.
Jim's giving the exact
Yeah.
advice that we just gave.
Like, all right, Jim.
Slow down there, Jim.
Jeez.
Safety.
Yeah. Oh, we got Captain Safety over here.
No,
I
he's
said it felt
completely
like
right.
he was taking my mom's side over mine. That's when Jim told me I was acting immature. What made it worse was that my other friends started siding with him and telling me that I need to grow up for being annoyed about this. I told my mom about this conversation I had. I was curious if she thought my friends should side with me on this because they're my friends, or her because they agree with her. Instead of getting where I was coming from, she praised Jim. She said this showed I had good friends, and then added that good friends don't just back you up when you're wrong. That stung way more than her original no.
And also some great continuing of advice
funny.
from mom.
Yeah, mom is nailing it. All of your friends are nailing it.
OP's gonna watch this
Yeah,
and be
OP's
like,
like,
2 more people that don't side
Oh,
with me.
stop. I'm sorry, OP. You're 17. You'll understand when you're older.
And I 100% agree that it's good that your friends don't just agree with you.
Yeah. I
Because
think
that can
it's-
be really badly. I don't
Yeah,
even know
you
the
don't
word.
want just yes
behavior.
men.
Yeah.
One friend's gonna be like, dude, yeah, like, your mom's right. And then when you say, what the heck, why aren't you siding with me? They're gonna be like, dude, okay.
Like, come
Mom's
on, I'm
right.
still your
Let's
friend.
get
Like,
over
let's just
it,
move
yeah.
on.
At this point, I'm not even mad at my mom anymore. I get why she said no. What really bugs me is Jim. I was just venting about how disappointed I was, and he turned around and made me feel like I was in the wrong for even being upset. Feels like both of them ended up on the same side, and I was the odd one out. I keep thinking if the roles were reversed, I wouldn't have done that to him. Am I really the one in the wrong here? Is Jim right and I'm being immature? Or am I justified being annoyed at how he handled it? There are some comments. You're being immature, but you're 17.
Right. But this
It's
is the
okay.
time that maybe we start growing up from these
Yeah.
things.
It's no big deal. Everyone's got, I'm annoyed
Yeah.
at my mom, and you
And
want your friends to
feelings
take
can
the side.
still get hurt.
Sure.
But then we move on. We
move
grow up a
on.
little.
You go, okay. And it seems like you understand that both are right here.
Right.
You just wanted your friends to be like, yeah, that sucks, man. And
that's
maybe
fair.
that's super fair, but
But we can't get mad from them just like innocently saying,
yeah, being like,
I
yeah,
totally
your mom's
get
right.
it.
I get it. Commenter 1 says, you're the a-hole. You're being immature about it. OP says, they were on board with the trip until my mom said she didn't approve. How is that maturity? I shared this post in the group chat and they renamed it, Jonah's mom is always right. I'm not the only immature one here, LMAO.
Oh, that's hilarious.
That's just funny.
Actually.
Commoner 1 says, yes, doubling down is going to help. OP says, I've been placed in a no-win situation.
Tripling
All
down.
I wanted was to go on a fun trip. My mom shoots it down. I say I'm disappointed that's how she feels and ask if we should go anyway. And my friends turn on me.
Okay, you
So
left
you
that out
didn't
of your
say
original
that.
post.
You didn't say that.
You just said you dropped it.
Yeah, you said I just complained about it. You didn't say that you tried to convince them to go anyways. My crime was being a newly qualified driver and wanting to take advantage of that. Does that really make me a villain? Commoner 2 says villain? No. Not realizing that your friends have your back even if they disagree with you? Yeah. Seriously, you have a friend who will go, hey, is this a good idea? Instead of going with the flow? That's huge. It shows he actually cares about you and what happens to you.
Yeah.
That being said, you're a newly qualified driver and you want to take a 2-hour road trip to a theme park with friends. Have you ever driven with a bunch of hyped up, excited teenage boys? They're effing distracting. Have you ever driven when you're mentally exhausted? Would not recommend. Have you ever driven when crap goes sideways? What do you do if you get a flat? You're a brand new driver. Practice driving first before making road trips. Commoner 3 says, you're the a-hole. Yeah, Jim is right. You're being immature. Take a deep breath and apologize. OP says, I just feel like at 17, it's fine to be willing to take risks. I actually find it kind of puzzling that my mom not approving was enough to change his mind because earlier he did want to go on the trip.
He
Because-
probably also went to his parents.
Yeah,
And they
said
also said, this
no.
isn't a great idea. And he was like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's it's not puzzling to me. This is like you go to your
Yeah.
parents and you say, I want to go on this crazy trip. And they say, hey, here are the reasons why we don't think that's a good idea.
Right.
And you go, oh, those are good reasons.
He also might not have agreed with you the whole time and just didn't have a reason to say it wasn't a
Yeah.
good idea.
Commoner 4 says, it's fine to be willing to take risks, but it's not fine to be willing to risk the lives and safety of all of your friends as an inexperienced driver trying to take a long, I assume highway, drive, which you will have to drive everyone home from after a long day when you're tired. For all we know, maybe nothing would happen, but maybe you'd crash. Maybe you and your friends could get hurt or worse. Everyone takes risks at 17, you're right, but is it worth taking this risk? After some reconsideration, which is normal and happens often when people hear different perspectives and opinions, it seems your friends are no longer comfortable taking that risk. That's okay. Commenter 5 says, info, is driver's ed really that lacking wherever OP is? Even during lessons we go on the highway here. Route on exam is decided by raffle, and even that can include highway. If we have 20-hour official driving lessons, we could drive anywhere in the country by ourselves, as long as the education center signs off that we are qualified, as long as we don't take passengers so we can keep practicing until our exams. Commenter 6 says, in Vermont, drivers under 18 get a junior license for the first 6 months with restrictions. No driving for work and no passengers under 18 for the first 3 months. 20 years ago in New Hampshire, driver's ed, we had a 2-hour lesson on the party in your car. The more distractions a driver has, the higher the accident risk. Statistics showed a huge difference between new drivers alone versus those with friends in the car. We practiced this by sorting cards while listening to music, doing math problems, and having classmates distract us. Our instructors gave personalized warning lists of things we passed on, but still worried them. Mine was driving on roads with 3 or more lanes, lane changes, and traffic. Others got warnings about night driving, bad weather, or making increasing mistakes after 30 minutes behind the wheel. So putting a new driver in a car with several distractions for a long drive, presumably through traffic and lane changes, is asking for trouble. OP might still convince his mom. Options include a dry run. Hey mom, I want to treat you and younger sibling to the amusement park. If I drive both there and back with you in the car and pay for our day there, will you let me do it again with friends? Mom has the option to take over if she deems OP's behavior unsafe. Or change the date to April or May next year. OP says he's 17 and wants to do this before graduation. Most graduations are in May or June. 6 or more months of extra practice and volunteering to drive for longer periods could help, so she stops worrying. Or choose a closer location. The ocean is a 2.5-hour drive, but a nice big lake with a beach is 45 minutes. Commenter 5 says, yeah, I miss that he's 17, but still, if he passed it, either means he's a good enough driver or exams don't mean much there. I totally disagree with that.
I totally
disagree with that. I'm sorry. An exam can tell you a couple things. It can tell you that you know how to use, your blinker.
Yeah.
That you know how to park. That you know how to
Make a K-turn.
make a turn. Yeah.
I remember taking my test
Mhm.
and then being out driving with my parents after still and having not done a lot of the things I was still encountering because
Absolutely.
we only practiced for the test.
Yes. But even if you have an incredibly extensive, thorough test, you still just do not have it's like saying a person who has studied all of the if they're going to medical school or something, a person that's taken like a biology class or an anatomy class and knows all of the information about the body is able to operate on a human. You don't have the experience. You might have the
Yeah, the
you know,
knowledge
knowledge
is there.
of it.
We're just lacking when
Yeah.
things go wrong.
you
experience.
knowing how being comfortable enough in the car to know that you need to swerve or not swerve
Right.
when someone is coming at you.
The tired driving one I think is a big one.
Mhm.
After a full day in a theme park,
So
your
different.
friends, your rowdy friends on the way
Yeah.
up are all going to be asleep when
You
you
just
on the
don't
way
have
back.
that stamina.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just I totally disagree with that comment. Commenter continues, here you can take your theoretical at 17 and your classes as well, so you can be ready to take your practical exam when you're 18. When you have your permanent license, you need to go back to retest after about 6 months to make sure everything's stuck, though that's a fairly new rule. I asked because I know not all countries have the same standard on driver's ed nor regulations about it. Plus, not every country has the same concept on what a long drive entails. Here, a lot of people drive over an hour to work, so a 2-hour drive for fun is rather minor. Though on a low traffic day, it could get you to literally the other side of the country. Heck, I'm 20 minutes to 2 hours driving away from 4 other countries with current traffic conditions. Again, commenter, you're wrong.
We're
You
not in
don't
Europe.
know. We're not in Europe. You seem to be. Because I'm thinking about that
Driving through a
18-year-old
whole state.
Well,
and-
also just
yeah,
being 18.
The laws.
The laws there. We're not in Europe. You also don't know what the traffic conditions are like in this place.
right.
Person driving in LA, totally different than a person driving in the countryside.
Right. And if he's in a big state in the
Mhm.
middle of countryside, sure, traffic could be lighter, but
Yeah.
then that truly leads to the if something goes wrong, you are stuck
You're
there.
stuck. There's so many different scenarios and stuff that depend on where you live. Commenter 6 says, I don't know if times are just changing or you just have very responsible friends. Haha. Back when I was 16 or 17 and one of my parents told me I couldn't drive somewhere, no way in heck would I or any of my friends say, we should respect your mom's decision. Haha. We would figure out a way to do it anyway without getting caught. Bad advice from that commenter. And the verdict is a-hole. I don't think you're an a-hole. I think you're just
Yeah.
a 17-year-old who wants to do something and thinks that you're invincible,
Yeah.
which
Not
is all
an
most
a-hole, though.
17-year-olds. But there is an update, folks. So let's get into it. I've spent the past couple of hours trying to think about what part of this truly bothered me. At first, I thought I was just mad because he sided with my mom. But after really thinking about it, I realized the real issue was that I didn't know how to respond to what he said in the moment. When I was venting, I was expecting the kind of support you usually get from friends when you're frustrated. Even if they don't agree 100%, they just let you blow off steam. But instead, Jim called me immature. That totally caught me off guard, and I didn't have any comeback or way to defend myself. It felt like he had kind of put me in a corner in front of everyone, and that made me even more upset. Another part of why I took it so hard is because, honestly, I really wanted this trip to be something that would bring me closer to everyone. I've always felt like I'm on the edge of the group sometimes, and I thought being the one to drive us on this big adventure would show them I was dependable and fun to be around. Aww.
Oh, OP, that's very cute. I will say, you're probably not going to talk to most of these people when you leave high school.
Probably not.
But
That's
you
okay.
handled that way more mature
Yeah.
in the sitting back and thinking about it and rethinking it all through.
I
And
understand
good for
why.
you.
And, we're fun to be around, and you can listen to full episodes of stories just like this. If you want to be around us more, just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. There is a little bit left to this story. So I guess the reason I was annoyed is because the whole situation made me feel powerless. I couldn't convince my mom to let me go. I couldn't get my friends to see my side. And I couldn't even properly explain why I was upset. It's like I was frustrated on 3 different levels at once, and it all came out as me being mad at Jim. I'm still disappointed the trip didn't happen, but I think the reason I was upset with Jim has more to do with me feeling like I lost control of the situation than with what he actually said. I just don't know how to deal with that in the moment. I did talk to Jim afterward, and we managed to clear the air. Good. He said he hadn't meant to make me feel singled out, and he genuinely thought he was just looking out for us. Once we both explained where we were coming from, things felt a lot better, and we were good again. And there you go.
There you go.
Love that. Love that. All better. I refuse to reconcile with an old friend, even though it would make everyone happy.
We're gonna hold on to these grudges.
And this comes directly from the r/OK Storytime subreddit.
Woohoo!
I, 42, non-binary, am a singer-songwriter who used to sing with a group of folks who performed together every week. We wrote and recorded things together, and we all were various queer folks spanning from gay to trans to non-binary. By the way, this comes from Superb Leopard 8285. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
And I'm Angie.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, I thought I'd found family. I thought we would be buying property together later in life, and we would be each other's safe space forever. The lead singer, Cecilia, 55, male to female, and pianist, Jeff, 50 male, of the band, encouraged me to come record on their label. Jeff was an awesome pianist and budding music producer, and he co-owned a label with Medusa, 60 female, who several colleagues of mine had released tunes with. Medusa is a sick name.
It really is.
Cecilia was also releasing 2 songs, and our listening party would debut our songs at the same time, and we would share a release date. I had a few songs ready, and I had released a decent amount of music with multiple DJs worldwide. I knew how distribution worked, and I knew how much things were supposed to cost. I thought it would be fun to record and produce with friends, so I signed a contract to release 2 songs with them. I am business-minded, and since there was a contract, I treated this as separate from the band and its gigs, even though some of the same people overlapped. What that meant to me was that anything regarding the label was between the record label owner and the producer. My mistake was thinking that was their point of view, too. The track built off my composition was terrible, and when the producer, who was our pianist in the band, told me it would take extra time he would have to charge me for, we were nowhere near what I wanted. I had to pay twice the quoted amount because they were my revisions. I hated my songs, I thought the production value was terrible, and I thought I was taking crazy pills. I emailed the producer and the label owner trying to play nice and save feelings. Both gaslit me and tried to tell me I was wrong and that Jeff is a very experienced producer and knows what he's doing. I knew it wasn't good, and more importantly, the record label was going to set up a listening party where tons of people would come to hear the songs. I tried to politely say the songs weren't ready to be heard yet, as the process wasn't complete, and I didn't feel comfortable letting people hear unfinished work. There were a lot of sighs and reactions from Medusa and Jeff, sighs of exasperation, and the owner still doubled down on Jeff's skills being good enough, and then I needed to realize that. I have no need to be right most of the time, but I was not about to let my songs be released in the state they were in. I asked my multi-Billboard charting producer, Lionel, on the opposite coast to listen to the tunes and tell me his honest feedback. Maybe I really was wrong. He would tell me. Lionel wrote back in disbelief. He said these tunes aren't even close to industry ready and included a long, kind, and constructive paragraph about what was missing and what the track needed. My hand on a Bible in court, the paragraph was constructive, and the only reason I got his opinion was because I wasn't being heard and validated at the current label. I also want to say that sometimes a product isn't good or needs improvement, and I was trying to address that professionally so we could all get what we wanted. I sent Lionel's feedback to the producer and the label owner with a link to his website showing him working with Cher, Sylvester, Martha Wash, and everyone under the sun.
Wow.
I was business-minded, and my objective was to not have my songs played at the party less than a week away. Yeah, you don't want to play stuff that's not good yet.
No.
Or at least good in your opinion.
Exactly. And especially if you got this second opinion on it too, the
Mhm.
clearly a successful person. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Stand
also, I
by
think that-
yourself.
I think and these are, your quote unquote children. So
Yeah.
don't let people, walk all over you.
Exactly.
I wrote something in the email professionally along the lines of, please hear what Lionel has to say and understand I align with his thinking. And this is the reason I don't want the tunes heard yet. Panties in a bunch, Jeff didn't take the feedback well and didn't handle it well either. He never wanted to talk or have any conversation. Hating me was easier. Away from the recording studio, the band had to rehearse, and we met at a club downtown during the day. My ex-husband, I was married at the time, to Mike, 43 male, and I head to rehearsal. My ex was the videographer and content manager, so he had every right to be there and had been at every rehearsal ever. I walked in and had no idea that Jeff was at the piano, pissed. He ripped Mike's head off, threw him out, and it was so cruel and mean.
Gosh.
I had to do the whole rehearsal with no answers, with Jeff treating me like crap and acting like a little child, while my ex-husband sat outside. The whole band was uncomfortable and nothing was said. Nothing was explained. We left rehearsal hurt and upset. Cecilia asked Jeff what that was about, and he told her about the email with the feedback from Lionel and what was said. Fast forward a few weeks, Jeff barely acknowledges me at rehearsal, and I've now had to pay Lionel $700 to make the tracks industry ready, aka fix Jeff's tracks. Now they could be played at the listening party, but Jeff wasn't talking to me, and the band went on break. The listening party happened. The label took credit for tracks that Lionel and I had cut and pasted together across the country. I thought time might take the edge off, but a month later, I'm at the dog park. Lots of people are around, people I know since it's my neighborhood. I have 3 dogs, and we all kind of know each other. Cecilia happens to be walking the park at the same time. She sees me, basically tells her husband to hold her coat, and she verbally berates me in front of every single person. That's so inappropriate.
Yeah.
In public?
Yeah.
Come on. Everyone's staring. I'm still like, what is this about? I'm business-minded and can't imagine a breach under any circumstances. But she yells, you sent that email to Jeff and it crushed him. He's a
Yeah.
professional.
Right. He should have taken criticism.
Yeah, you cannot be a professional in the creative industry and not know how to take criticism. I was amazed that she knew about it, took his side, and ripped me a new one in public without even hearing me. I know if Cecilia had an issue with her songs, she would pull them immediately. She would raise heck. I couldn't believe a constructive email, kindly worded, could make someone hate me so much. I couldn't believe Cecilia sided with Jeff when we know how sacred our creations are and how much it costs to produce quality recordings. After the screaming ended, I took her aside and pointed out she had never asked for my side. She paused and let me explain my side of the story. I explained that my songs weren't ready and asked her what she would do in my shoes. She said, well, I guess I would try to get them not to play them either. Once I connected some dots, I realized this was not about me being mean about someone's work. This was about me being a whistleblower calling out that this label was basically a fraud and not worth what artists are paying for. I am sorry if that's hard to hear. I know Jeff is her friend, but business is different. And Jeff is taking our money and not producing quality work. I never tried to hurt anyone, but I'm not putting my name on those songs. Cecilia began to realize that maybe she had been wrong, but I was gone. Shut down, shut out, like girl, bye. I was mortified by the scene. I have a strong boundary about public humiliation and being screamed at in public, as I assume most people would.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's a bit too far.
I was disgusted by Jeff's inability to hear that the customer, me, isn't satisfied. It's really not personal and we need to work and learn together. I was angry at him for sharing private exchanges with Cecilia. I was angry with Cecilia for taking Jeff's side. I was angry Cecilia let Jeff punt Mike out. None of us are making enough money for any of this to be a thing. Cecilia was complicit and took sides without having all the info, screamed at me in my happy place, and no, I'm sorry from her would not suffice. I bounced. I blocked. I peaced out. The pandemic happened, my divorce happened. 6 years later, I moved back, and Cecilia has made friends with a large number of my friends in my absence. It's gotten around that I've moved back, and Cecilia and friends, not Jeff, want us to reconcile. And I'd love for you to reconcile with us by listening to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. But there is a little bit left to this story.
Wow.
Any final thoughts?
I think OP handled that perfectly.
Yeah.
Honestly, you stood up for yourself, you explained yourself, and you didn't try to continue being friends with Cecilia anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, now people are trying to get you guys to reconcile, so do what you
Sure.
will with that.
But, it's never, it's not like her being angry at you or her, growing apart from you. This is her yelling at you in a public
Yeah.
space, especially
Yeah.
a place that you felt safe in.
Yeah.
And
And the people know you there too.
Yeah, and that's like
in your
I don't know,
neighborhood.
just that's a step too far.
Oh yeah,
That would be hard to forget.
for sure.
It's gotten out to a few folks that we used to be friends and collaborators, and they want us to get together again. I have said no many times, and they finally began to figure out I was avoiding Cecilia. My no isn't working. Friends are saying, obviously, it's unfinished if she keeps popping up, and she would be devastated if she knew how much she hurt you. Just talk to her. I do not want to. Yes, it would be easier for everyone else, but I can't tolerate another conversation about something from the past and call it healing. I'm over it. Would I be the a-hole if I told my well-meaning friends, thanks, but no thanks on rekindling my friendship with Cecilia? And what do you think?
I think no.
I think no, too.
Yeah, it's a
You don't know
boundary
them
of yours.
anything.
Yeah, exactly. It's your boundary. They can understand it. They're friends
Uh-huh.
of yours.
And they can offer that advice.
Yeah.
And also, they should respect that you don't want to take it.
Yeah.
I told my friend she overreacted, then she ended our friendship.
Yet again, another overreaction.
Friend and I met for dinner and she ordered a mocktail. She later complained she tasted booze and started feeling itchy. She can drink but sometimes might experience a rash if she's had too much. A waitress suggested it might be non-heavy drinker substitutes mimicking the flavor and promised to check, but due to how busy the restaurant was, she forgot to come back. By the way, this comes from a Joannique Maine, maybe. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Savannah.
I'm Angie.
And we are here to give some good advice, goofily. But we do not have all the answers in our little brains. We would love to know what your big brains would do in the comments. As OP says, when the bill came, we saw a cocktail charge, and that's when we realized that my friend was indeed served a cocktail instead of a mocktail. The waitress apologized profusely for the mistake and adjusted the bill immediately, admitting she accidentally gaslighted my friend earlier and my friend got visibly angry. When the waiter who took her mocktail order came to clear plates, she took the opportunity to confront him. As he was caught off guard, he gave a dismissive, "Oh, okay," which made her angrier. When the waitress returned, my friend vented again in a talk-down tone, reminding her of the gaslighting earlier. The waitress's tone shifted from bubbly to sounding like she was about to cry when she listed out the mistakes on her part and apologized on behalf of her coworker as well. My friend then demanded the original waiter return to apologize personally, and he did, so visibly shaken and scared. The restaurant manager stepped in as well, but my friend remained rude and demanding when asking for the APV just in case she needed to see a doctor later, and her tone was all like, "Just give me a number. I need to know a number." FYI, 10 minutes after we left the restaurant, her itch went away. The manager later texted me to offer a full refund, and my friend wanted me to send a collective feedback, harping about how serious the mistake was, about the itch, the poor service recovery, and the lack of concrete action and goodwill. I personally can empathize that restaurant staff are human and oversight happens, and I also do not condone the way she spoke to the staff as well, or as she was very rude, so I told her she could share the feedback directly herself. I also emphasized to her that I agreed it was a grave mistake on the restaurant's end, but felt her reaction toward the staff, who were clearly shaken, was out of line. She doubled down, citing a friend's experience with peanut allergy to justify her behavior. Later on, she said that she no longer feels comfortable going out with me because she found it alarming
that I thought she overreacted, as she could have landed in a more serious condition. If it was more serious, I'm sure she would have taken it more serious.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact of it is, you like made this whole scene, which I understand this is something that affects your body and could like potentially have like bad bodily consequences.
Yeah.
But it was just like a minor thing, and it happens, and you know, no one was trying to like poison you.
Right.
You know.
I wouldn't call this gaslighting because I think you have to be very intentional for gaslighting. You can't accidentally gaslight someone. You thought something else. So you said you thought it was wrong. It's not that you knew it was right, but you're telling her that it was wrong.
Yeah.
You know, like that would be gaslighting. But
And also, the waitress isn't the one making the drink
yeah.
in the first place.
Totally.
So, like, but maybe she put in the order, like she put in the order wrong
Yeah.
that it was, you know.
It's possible.
Yeah. So,
But again, mistakes.
it's just mistakes happen. You learn from them, and thankfully, no one was like seriously injured or anything.
Yeah, exactly.
There are some comments. Comment number 1 says, honestly, you the a-hole. It is an absolutely horrible error for a restaurant to make and then pretend didn't happen. Maybe it's no big deal for your friend to get itchy, but people who are sober and trying to blend in, people on medications, etc., there can be serious consequences for people. You can't give people ordering mocktails a cocktail on accident. When they ask you to double check, you don't give them bad information that can easily be seen on the tablet. I'm not saying they should be arrested and put on a list to be tarred and feathered, but the restaurant has to know. Maybe your friend was rude, but the actions by the restaurant warranted a response and management needed to know. I mean, the demanding an apology, etc., seems dramatic. You standing up for the little guy sounds more like virtue signaling than anything else. I personally can empathize that restaurant staff are human and oversight happens. Yeah, most people can. Honestly, you both sound insufferable and should remain friends. Comment number 2, you the a-hole drinking booze unwillingly and then getting gaslighted about it is no minor incident. You should have been more supportive during and after the interaction. Comment number 3 says, yeah, you the a-hole. I would be with the staff if they apologized immediately and swapped the drink, but it sounds like they lied until they were caught. Your friend has an allergy, which seems bad to me, but what do I know? But they could be in recovery or following a specific religion, which would make booze a huge no-no. Your friend was rude, but it sounds like she wasn't rude until after she found out the staff lied and was dismissive. That is also true.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like she was just like, is this? And they're like, no. And then you get the thing, it's like, girl, yes, it was.
Yeah.
Like, huh?
Yeah.
What the heck?
Right.
It's truly not okay to dismiss, hey, I think this had booze, it tastes like it, and I'm itchy because of an allergy. I would say everyone sucks here, but I do think the peanut analogy has merit. Comment number 4, you the a-hole. I worked in the service industry, and this was a big mistake on the restaurant's part. We take food allergies seriously, and the staff really messed up by gaslighting and lying for each other. It was only a small rash this time, but what about next time when a customer has a peanut allergy? Support your friend. By the way, you can support us by listening to full episodes with stories just like this. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, or your favorite podcast app and just search OK Storytime. There's a little bit left. What are your thoughts?
I think everyone needs to chill out.
Yeah, I think this, like, it is a big deal. I understand it's a big deal. Ooh. Especially when it's like an allergy. I get that. I know the allergy wasn't life-threatening, and, you know, if it was, I feel like the circumstance would have been treated differently. But the fact that it wasn't, and you weren't showing, like, clear signs of, like, an allergy, like, people don't take it as serious. But it is still a serious thing.
Sure.
So I understand where your friend is coming from, but I also understand that you don't want to be part of the drama that ensued, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I understand, like, you know, just sitting there and being like, you know, like, yeah, I support you or whatever, or, like, you know, it's not like your friend, it's not like OP wasn't supporting her. It's just she thinks that she took it a little too far.
Exactly. That's where I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Because the question right now is if this friend overreacted or not. I think yes. That's what I'm thinking. I think, yes, it is a problem. Sure. And of course, with all of these comments, like, yeah, if, you know, people were sober and would struggle with just one sip, you know, like, that is a problem. If someone, it was for religious things and they had some alcohol, that's a problem. Like, obviously, it's an issue.
Yeah.
But do I think we need to like call everyone out and like yell at them and then like, you know, leave all these reviews? No. I think we just can even when people mess up and they're in the service industry and we don't know them personally, we can still have a conversation with them and be like, hey guys, like, I know this was a mistake. I'm upset about the rash that I have, but I just need you guys to know that like there are lots of other reasons that people might not have alcohol, and I just think you guys should pay attention to that a little bit more.
Yeah. There are some more comments. Comment number 5, you the a-hole. This is a huge, massive safety issue that both the initial waiter and the waitress and the whole restaurant mishandled. The response to, hey, I'm having a reaction to something I just ate. It was supposed to be X. Can you check if that's what I got served? Was for them to not check? That is a massive problem. Let's be clear. She didn't so much accidentally gaslight your friend. What she did was flat out not believe her and not bother to check because she was busy rolling her eyes about a customer she perceived as being fussy, who was actually having a reaction to being served the wrong thing. And even if, giving the waitress the benefit of the doubt, she believed your friend, you do not get busy and do other things when someone is having a medical reaction to a food. You prioritize that and check. Whoever put in the order did it wrong, and you know that because it was on the receipt as a cocktail. The waitress, who you asked, should have immediately checked the order, which would have been in the system to verify what the order was, and your friend would have immediately known. The bartender or whoever made the drink could have been consulted. There were multiple points of failure. Every person besides your friend handled this wrong. It doesn't matter that your friend didn't have long-term problems as a result. It doesn't even matter that your friend doesn't have a worse reaction to booze than she did. What if it were an ingredient she was allergic to? What if she was a heavy drinker? What if she was on medication that can't be mixed with booze? What if she had a religious or other reason she didn't drink? In the end, her reasons for avoiding booze do not matter. What matters is the multiple times the restaurant failed to give her what she ordered and refused to verify that what they served her was what she ordered. You know, I am going to have to agree with that one. But that one was very well said.
It was very well said. I still stand by my thoughts.
Yeah, I still stand by my thoughts of like, you punish someone and it's like, is that enough or should I do more? And it's like, you could have just said, hey, actually, you must have not checked because on the receipt it says that this was a cocktail, and it just so happens that I'm actually allergic to some alcohol, and I think that I'm having an allergic reaction, so you need to make sure that if people say mocktail, they mean mocktail with an M.
My husband missed our son's birth for another family, so I left without him.
A secret family?
I, 32, had just had our second baby a few days ago, and instead of going home, I asked to be just discharged to my sisters. I don't know if that makes me an a-hole or overly emotional or whatever, which is why I'm here. By the way, this comes from Usual Memory 7983, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Carly.
I'm Sophia.
And I'm Savannah.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do. Let us know what you would do in the comments. NOP says. Some background. My husband, 33, and I were teen parents. We had our daughter at 18 and 19. She's 14 now. It's been a long road, and we waited a long time to feel ready to go through it all again. This baby was very much planned and wanted, but ever since I hit the 3rd trimester, I felt kind of alone in it. My husband started spending a lot of time with this couple we know. They're in a similar boat. They had their first as teens too, and just had their second recently. I get that it's a lot for them. Their oldest is 17, and they weren't planning on having another, so he's been helping them out. But it went from a nice gesture to almost daily visits, grocery runs, watching over their newborn while they nap, fixing stuff around their house, bringing food over, and sometimes with our daughter tagging along, sometimes without even letting me know he was going. Meanwhile, I was trying to keep up with everything at home, going to appointments alone, dealing with the mess that is late pregnancy.
That's pretty insane that you're actively going through pregnancy and he's helping another family.
That's a little bit weird to me. I brought it up to him more than once, and every time he'd either say I was exaggerating or that he was there, just not in the way I wanted him to be. So be there in the way she wants you to be.
Like, that's a crazy thing to say to your pregnant wife.
This is your child, your second child with this woman.
Come on, dude.
He kept saying I was being territorial or weirdly competitive about them needing help, which made me question myself even more. I started noticing changes in our daughter. She's an ice dancer and has an intense schedule, and after going with her dad to help at their house, she'd come back totally spaced out. Quiet, eating less. I figured she was just tired, but it started to feel off. She almost fell during practice one morning because she was so drained, and her coach made her sit out the rest of the week. That was a big wake-up call for me. I told my husband that enough was enough. We needed to pull back, not just for me, but for her too. He apologized, said he'd keep the visit shorter, only go when it was really needed. The visits were hardly shorter, but my daughter seemed less tired, and I could actually go to sleep with my husband some nights, so I counted it as a win. When I went into labor, I called him from the car while my sister drove me to the hospital. No answer. Texted. Nothing. He showed up about 4 hours after the baby was born with a slushie for me. Said he was sorry, but the other couple had a rough night and he didn't want to just leave them stranded.
Immediately divorce. Immediately divorce. I'm sorry. The other couple had a rough night while I was
I just had your
giving
kid.
birth.
To your kid.
Yeah, immediate done. We're over.
I didn't know what to say. I didn't want a big scene right there in the hospital, but when I could be discharged, I just had my sister take me home since my husband wasn't there. Now he's saying I'm being dramatic, that I'm pushing him for helping people who don't have the support we do.
Oh, what do you mean the support we do? OP doesn't have the support. They have what is supposed to be her support. Because they have
all
you.
of it. I know those nurses were raging for
Oh
your wife.
yeah. Oh yeah. They're like, where's the father? Oh, he's helping someone else. Okay.
Do you want him to unalive him for you when he gets here?
Yeah, we can do
We'll
that.
do that. They'll never find him.
Mm-mm.
He told me I'm being cold and that I'm setting a bad example for our daughter by shutting him out. No, you're setting a great example of standards. He also implied more than once that I'm trying to act like a victim when he was doing what any decent person would do. His mom called yesterday and said I should be ashamed for taking the baby away. I never said anything about keeping our son from him. I've told him he can come and see the baby whenever he wants. Yeah, you can make time to go see the other baby.
Yeah, if the mom called me and said that, I'd be like, no, he can come over whenever he wants.
Would you like
did he
to
tell you that
hear?
he missed the birth of our child?
By 4 hours?
Yeah.
Did he
And
tell
then
you he hasn't
left
hung
again?
out with me at all?
He can come whenever he wants.
I've been texting our daughter, keeping up with her, and I plan to be back home the moment I've recovered enough. I'm not trying to split our family, I just needed a break. Yeah, you also needed someone to be there to actually help you.
Yeah.
And your sister would do that. He wouldn't.
I think we should break up.
A quiet space to breathe and actually rest. I'm exhausted, mentally and physically. But now I'm second guessing myself. Was it wrong to go somewhere else to recover? Should I have just gone home and tried to work it out there? I don't want this to turn into some drawn-out fight or drama, especially not with a newborn in the picture. I don't even know if I'm thinking clearly at this point. Edit, our baby is a boy, sorry. And we have an update.
Divorce. Big old divorce. Capital letters, divorce. Capital, big, shining block letters. Get out of there. Your husband, I don't know if he's cheating or if he just sucks, but he sucks big time.
So 2-ish days after posting, I took my daughter out of school for a few days. I had my sister bring her to her house so we could be in the same space, and I could get a better read on how she was actually doing. I didn't want to come at her all at once, so I let her rest and decompress a bit. Gave her some room to just be a kid again. Sleep in, eat actual food, breathe. Then one afternoon, we were doing dishes and just chatting, and I gently asked what it's really been like at the other couple's place. I told her I wasn't mad, I just wanted to understand. She paused for a while, and then she told me the truth.
Ooh. Ooh.
She's kind of been seeing their 17-year-old son. Not officially dating, but spending a lot of alone time together. She said she'd try to remind her dad it was getting late, but the boy would pull her aside and they'd end up hanging out longer. She didn't get into the details, but it was pretty clear what she meant by the way she kept blushing and looking away from me. Her being tired all the time suddenly made a lot more sense. I also asked, carefully, if anything felt off about her dad lately, like if he seemed out of it or off in some way or was acting strange during their visits. She said not really, but that she'd smelled devil's lettuce once or twice. Usually when they were finally about to leave, and he was usually really sweaty at the end of it. She didn't seem too freaked out about it, but it made my stomach turn a bit. And by the way, you guys shouldn't freak out because there's always more episodes of stories just like this that you can go listen to. Just go to your favorite podcast app, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, search up OK Storytime.
Also, how old is OP's daughter? Because people
14, I think.
14?
Yeah.
Ew.
14 and 17.
17?
Yeah.
That's too big. I don't like that.
Freshman and junior.
Well, I mean, it could also be 8th grade. It's like 8th grade freshman. That's like cusp there, and that's like a
They're both in high
junior or
school. I could
senior.
see it being a little bit okay, but something to be very weary of.
I just don't like that we are finding out like so like 8th grader freshman who is coming home tired. Like to me that sounds like they're doing stuff and the dad's just there.
To me, it sounds like dad is also doing stuff, and then son is just like, I'll distract your daughter while
That's
you
what it
guys keep
feels
doing
like.
stuff. And I'm like,
Just so icky
is
to
the
me.
whole family just in on this?
It feels really icky to me. It feels like the dad is cheating if he's coming out sweaty, and also either to me that sounded like either he is cheating or he is, doing devil's lettuce instead of being there for his wife.
To me, it sounded like devil's lettuce and then cheating.
And then doing kind of a twofer. Yeah.
But we got a little bit left. When my husband found out I'd taken her out of school and brought her to my sister's, he lost it. He accused me of trying to turn her against him and called it parental interference. Like, okay. I told him I just wanted her to rest and have some space. He wasn't hearing it. A few hours later, his mom called me, yelling, saying I was trying to steal the baby, isolate our daughter, ruin the family, etc.
Shut up, Mom. Why are you calling like 50 times? I don't want to talk to you about my relationship with
So
your
talk to
son.
your son.
Yeah.
Tell your son to step it up. She left this long voicemail about how I needed to bring his children home where they belong. I haven't responded. I haven't told him what our daughter shared yet. I'm still trying to figure out how to bring it up and how to press him for more details about what he himself gets up to during those visits, other than what I figure out from what my daughter said. So yeah, that's where things stand. Messy, exhausting, but a little clearer than before. I'm sorry this is so jumbled. I wrote it after putting the baby finally to sleep. That's
So we
the
don't-
end.
We don't get any clarity on what happened. Do we have any updates?
Can you check, Savannah?
Yeah, I'll check.
That's so frustrating. I don't trust him. I hate that he keeps getting calling his mommy to, fight his battles for him.
Mom, fix it. I just want to smoke devil's lettuce and get sweaty.
I really don't love the relationship that this daughter is having. It feels like, it's not unheard of for a freshman and senior to get together.
I would need to know when their birthdays are.
Yes.
To know what grades they're in, and if it's just a 3-year gap right now, and it's in a month she'll turn 15, and then there's no gap.
When I was in high school, I always thought it was really weird if a senior and a freshman were together. I was like, that feels like too big of a
I thought
age
so
gap.
too.
That would be a big gap, but they might be freshman and junior. He might just be old for his grade. She might be young for her grade.
Yeah, but also regardless of that, I think that just the tired all the time really makes me feel like she's doing stuff that maybe she's not ready for.
Yeah.
And it really is not great if that is literally in the house when that is happening.
So it was updated a year ago, but what you read was the update. There's
There's
not
nothing in the
another one.
comments or anything.
No, I know. I was trying to go through and everyone's like, update the story, update it. Your daughter needs to be tested for all these things, blah, blah, blah. Sweaty.
Yeah. I like it. But that's the end of that story. We got another one.
My mother-in-law is best friends with my husband's ex and kept inviting her to dinners.
Ew, gross. Ew, I hate it.
I, 29 female, had a conversation with my husband, Jack, 30 male, that has really confused me as to whether I'm just being insecure or if I'm right in wanting my mother-in-law to uninvite his ex from the Thanksgiving dinner. I have been together with Jack for 3 years and we got married this summer. Things have been great so far and he's a really kind person. His family is wealthy while I come from a humble background. My husband and I live a comfortable yet modest life. We both have PhDs in a STEM field and make a good living. I met Jack through mutual friends at work, and we realized how similar we are, and soon realized that we're meant to be together. It's embarrassing to admit, but Jack was my first boyfriend. Jack also was only in one long-term 7-year relationship with Jenny. They were childhood friends, since Jenny's parents were friends with Jack's parents, and they started dating in high school. Jack told me that they realized when they were 23 that they wanted different things in life and broke up. I later learned that it was Jack's decision to pursue a PhD that irked Jenny, and she broke up with him. She was like, I don't like that you want to be smarter. I don't like it.
Smarty pants. I don't like it.
Jack was really heartbroken and did not date anyone until he met me. And I hope that you guys are excited to meet the writer of this story, which is who, Savannah?
This story comes from TW Mill 32423.
And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Dakota.
And I'm Savannah.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP continues. Jenny and Jack stayed friends, and Jack is cordial with her when we run into her. It initially annoyed me that he was still in touch with her, but I slowly learned the nature of their friendship, where Jenny is generally the one who initiates the conversation, and Jack just responds to her questions. When we were planning our wedding, Jack's parents paid for it and invited a lot of people. Jack's mother insisted we invite Jenny's parents and Jenny since they were close family friends. It felt weird, but I agreed to avoid any further drama. Jenny declined the invite because she was traveling on an overseas vacation, and any further drama was avoided. Nice! So you got his parents to pay for the wedding and Jenny didn't even show up? Love it.
Perfect. A perfect situation.
After our wedding, my mother-in-law's relationship with Jenny has really been bothering me. Jack calls his parents every Sunday morning since that is the only time his dad is available. Whenever we FaceTime them, Jenny is always there at my mother-in-law's home. Jack has asked his mom why Jenny always hangs out with her, and my mother-in-law told him that Jenny loves spending time with her and comes over on Sundays to chat. They have their own inside jokes and gossip, and they behave like they are each other's best friends. I always get a mean girl vibe from both of them. From Jenny and mother-in-law, presumably?
Yeah. Which might, maybe that's the case, but it could also be projection.
Could be. But it's also, I imagine it would be a little weird. We live in a different town than Jack's parents, and for the 3 times we have visited them so far, Jenny always invites herself to dinners or other events. My mother-in-law cannot stop talking about how amazing Jenny is, how caring she is, and all the fun things they do together. In contrast, my mother-in-law always gives me the cold shoulder and always rejects any attempts I make to have a good relationship with her. I think the final straw for me was when my mother-in-law told me last weekend during our FaceTime about how Jenny and she are planning for the Thanksgiving dinner and all the recipes they plan to make. I asked her if Jenny is also going to be at the Thanksgiving dinner, which was supposed to be a private thing. And she looked at me like I asked her a silly question. She told me that Jenny's like a daughter to her. Of course she's invited to all family events. I did not take this well and talked to Jack about it. He told me that although he agrees that his mom's relationship with Jenny is weird, he cannot control who she can spend her time with. He told me that Jenny was always close to his mom, and even after they broke up and Jack moved to his new college for his PhD, Jenny never stopped being friends with my mother-in-law. He feels that my mother-in-law is just lonely, and that Jenny fills that void for her. I asked him if we can uninvite Jenny, and he told me that I'm overreacting, that it was his mother's call.
How old are we right now?
I believe it was either late 20s, early 30s.
Wait, I had it.
I'm not sure. Or maybe it was-
29
Yeah.
female and 30 male.
So this was
Yes.
probably at least 5 years ago because you went to do a PhD. Could be even longer. So kinda like a, hey, my mom's weird. I don't know. I can't really force her, but the only thing you can control is how you react and feel about it.
I mean, the other thing that you control is if you go. Presumably, you also have family members that you can spend Thanksgiving with. So you could always say, hey, I don't feel super comfortable. I know it's going to bother me and I don't want to make it a whole thing. So I'm just going to go spend Thanksgiving with my family. He assured me that I have nothing to worry about and promised me that he will not leave my side when we are at his parents' house. I feel bad, but I feel that since Jenny was my husband's ex, my mother-in-law should respect the fact that Jack is married now and not invite Jenny when I am around. Moreover, I feel she should have made more of an effort to know her real daughter-in-law rather than Jenny. I'm also upset that Jack doesn't see why I'm uncomfortable with him spending so much time with Jenny, who he dated for 7 years.
But was that 7 years ago?
I mean, by now, if they're 29, it was 6 years ago. I want to know if I'm wrong in asking Jack to tell his mom to uninvite Jenny from any further family gatherings. Any advice on how to handle my emotions and this situation is appreciated. And there is an update, but what do you think?
I think handling your emotions is how you handle the situation. Boom.
Yes, don't lash out at your husband. I also think that I think you could ask him to talk to his mom and, say, hey, it makes me feel uncomfortable. I don't think it would go well if he was like, my wife doesn't like that Jenny's there. I think that would just go poorly. But if it makes you super uncomfortable, I think you just tell your partner that you don't really want to go to these things anymore.
I mean, are they actively insulting you constantly? Are they doing anything actually like mean or negative to you? Or are you just like feeling like they could or might or would?
But we got an update. Let's see if they make any of those things clear.
Yeah, and to be clear, I'm only saying this because you can't control it. You can't make her not invite that person. She won't not do it. So that's off the table. So how else do you take care of it?
I just say you don't go if it's really uncomfortable for you.
But then Jenny wins for real.
Yeah,
then Jenny actually wins in the only way she can win.
Thanksgiving's not about winning and losing. It's about having fun.
Tell it to the pilgrims.
Eating.
Tell it to the pilgrims and the knights. Somebody came out on top of that.
That wasn't on Thanksgiving. That was everything before and after.
Whatever, man.
Update. I wrote a post a few days ago because my husband's ex was invited by my mother-in-law to our Thanksgiving dinner. Wait. Just to be clear, who's hosting the Thanksgiving dinner?
Mother-in-law.
Savannah, can you look back and see who's hosting it?
Yeah, that's why I said you can't not.
Because no, I thought that.
You can't tell her.
That's what I thought.
To not invite someone to her thing.
I totally agree. That's what I thought. But the phrasing of to our Thanksgiving dinner.
Well,
that's what's getting me. So I just want to run that back. Look at that. Is it for sure at mother-in-law's house? Jelly says it says right here was invited by my mother-in-law to our Thanksgiving dinner. Just want to make sure.
It says that Jenny always invites herself to dinners. My mother-in-law cannot stop talking about how amazing she is.
But do we know who's hosting Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving at your house, then you can invite whoever you want.
Yes. If it is Thanksgiving at your house, then absolutely you can say Jenny can't come. Mother-in-law can't just invite Jenny wherever she wants.
I think she's using the hour in like the family hour, and then Jenny's outside of that.
Well, I've answered in both scenarios, so take whichever one applies.
Yeah, it doesn't really say. Not that I'm.
Yeah.
It's just saying like, oh, am I wrong? And blah, blah. I don't really.
It's okay. I've answered in both scenarios.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
And I was not really thrilled about the whole thing. Thanks so much for all the comments and suggestions. I wanted to write an update because I have a really happy update. I had the best Thanksgiving. And I think I will be seeing less of Jenny at our future family get-togethers. Oh, most of you were right that it was my mother-in-law's Thanksgiving party. Okay, so it was, clarity. And she is allowed to invite who she wants. She's known Jenny for a lot longer than me and has always treated her like her own daughter. The fact that my husband and she broke up did not change the dynamics between them. I was also wrong to expect my mother-in-law to show me the same love, since she's only known me for less than 2 years now and we live in different cities, so our bonding time has been limited. I decided to suck it up, and thanks to someone's genius idea in the comment section, came up with the pettiest of plans. Is that really sucking it up if you came up with a petty plan?
Yeah, why couldn't you just stop at I was an adult and I sucked it up and I was around someone who I don't necessarily enjoy?
We went to our in-laws' place on Wednesday and Jack's parents were very welcoming. Jenny came to Jack's house on Thursday early morning to help with cooking. I was also helping my mother-in-law. Jenny kept on bringing up memories of when Jack and she were together and was trying to tell me all the habits of Jack that she found cute. I hate that. I kept a straight face, smiled, and also told her how Jack has changed now and how he acts more maturely and responsibly than when he was in his early 20s. My mother-in-law acted neutral, but I'm sure she sensed the tension between us. When Jack came down for breakfast, I decided to step up the PDA and gave him a long hug and a kiss. Ew.
Ooh, your petty plan has merged.
Mwah, kissy kissy. I'm not really into PDA, and it took Jack by surprise, but he looked happy. I love that OP's idea of a lot of PDA is a long hug and a kiss.
Yeah.
She's like, ooh, you're jealous. Ooh, I'm still hugging it. It's still going.
Ooh, long hug.
And then
we
she goes,
doing a long hug.
And then she goes,
and everyone goes,
oh my God. I made it a point to sit next to him and hold his hand as much as I could. I mean, it's your husband. Your petty plan is pretty basic.
I'm really starting to sense that all of these things that you're doing and all of the reactions you're seeing aren't happening, and you're just really projecting your feelings onto this situation. Because Jenny's been involved with mother-in-law for, I'm going to say 12 years at this point. If they dated for 7 and he was in a post-grad and he got a PhD and he's 29 now. So that's a long time to know somebody. And I think it really might just be completely segmented from your boyfriend or your husband, whatever. I think it could be.
I'm slightly on the opposite, only slightly on the opposite end, just because I do believe that Jenny is probably still trying to vie for Jack's attention.
And that would be insane if she's doing that.
Yeah, it would be, but
Yeah.
people do crazy things.
People are insane.
I kept on asking Jack to tell everyone stories about our travels and the fun parties we hosted for our friends after the wedding. The whole family joined in and we had a fun time. My father-in-law made it a point to tell me that he's never seen Jack look so happy and how I've changed him for the better. I kept at the PDA for the rest of the day and never left Jack's side. We had a great time with his brothers and they gave us a tour of their entire estate. Jenny tagged along, but everyone was curious about Jack and me and our new life together. Dinner was amazing too. By the way, it would be amazing if you listened to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. But we've got a little bit left to this story.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait, was it the conversation about the stuff he used to like was Jenny talking?
Yes.
Oh, I thought that was the mother-in-law
No, that's
talking.
why I was like, I feel like she's been pretty clear that she's into
I thought
him.
that was mother-in-law being like, oh, I remember when they were together and
No,
it
that was Jenny. That was Jenny being
Oh,
like,
okay,
I remember
never
how he used to like this when he was with me. And then OP was like, well, he likes something new now.
Yeah, that
'Cause he's
is
an
that is
adult.
weird.
Yes.
That's super weird then.
Yes.
I just thought, I thought it was the mother-in-law talking.
No, it's Jenny.
I was like, we haven't really seen anything that Jenny's
That's why I was
doing
confused. I was
to like be, I don't know, it was like,
unless OP's fully lying.
yeah.
It's pretty overt. After dinner, Jack told me that he would help with the cleaning and that I should chill with the family in the living room. My mother-in-law, Jenny, and Jack were clearing the table and cleaning up. That's when Jenny made a comment to Jack that I seemed to be too clingy. Before Jack could say anything, my mother-in-law defended me and told Jenny that we're newly married and in love, and that's what married couples do. Okay, mother-in-law.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
A little character development. She also praised me and told Jenny how lucky Jack is to have found me. I felt so happy when Jack told me about all the good things my mother-in-law said about me. And she probably wouldn't have said that if you had tried to tell her to stop seeing Jenny. Jack told me Jenny left soon after. She was supposed to join us on a trip to the town on Friday, but she canceled, and we didn't see her the rest of the weekend. Overall, it was a perfect weekend and went so much better than I thought it would. I felt that my anxieties got the better of me, but I can see now how much my in-laws adore me and treat me like family.
Yeah. Oh my dear Lord, don't be a Jenny, everybody.
Yeah.
That girl tried to play the long game
Yeah, too long.
for, a decade at least?
Mm-hmm.
Just don't do that. Either be straight up or leave.
Yeah.
Pick one. Don't just hang around.
I guess I should have been more secure about the Jenny situation in hindsight, as Jack married me and I should not view her as competition anymore. Again, thanks for all the advice and suggestions. I hope all of you had a nice Thanksgiving. And there it is. Okay.
Ooh,
Nice.
okay.
You didn't even have to do anything. That's the nice thing. If you're secure, while also being honest with your partner, I think sometimes you don't even have to it's like when you have a friend, a mutual friend with, someone, and you're no longer friends with that person because they wronged you in some way, sometimes it's better to, instead of telling your friend who you're still friends with, this person's the worst, I hate them, sometimes you just like let them make a mess. And then you don't have to look like the bad guy.
Yes, let them make,
They always
make
do.
their mess and lie in it.
They always do.
Let them make a mess of things and lie within it.
But that's the end of that story, folks. My husband wanted to vacation during the vid because he was unhappy at home.
Huh?
My husband wants to spend the weekend at a lake house with 3 of his friends during a dang quarantine. I told him that was really stupid and that he could not go. By the way, this comes from Realness, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit, and OP says. So his reasoning is that he has already visited those 3 friends during the quarantine. So there's no reason to distance himself at all, apparently, because there's no difference between having dinner with someone and spending a whole weekend in close proximity to someone, apparently. He says the lake house is isolated and they won't be going out anywhere, but that's obviously a lie. Even if he stays at the lake house, the others would get hungry and want to pop over to the grocery store. And here's the most ridiculous assertion of his. It's harder on him now due to the quarantine. That's just true. It was harder on everyone during the quarantine.
That doesn't sound wrong at all.
I know that doesn't sound ridiculous.
It doesn't.
Because it's hard to break routine and get used to staying home, right? But my husband has always worked from home and is used to taking care of our son during the day.
Yeah, so that's not the same thing as being forced to stay inside because of global events.
And also not being able to see anyone.
Honestly, I'd say go to the lake house, brother. In hindsight, go to the freaking lake house.
At the moment, I totally understand where OP's coming from of like a lot of the fear.
I would have also been like, don't do that.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, you go do whatever you want.
I'm the one who's had to get used to a completely new routine and learn to work over my 4-year-old's need for attention. And he doesn't even do much anyway. He's a digital artist, which isn't exactly a stressful job in the first place, but half the time I even go to check on him, he's not even doing crap. He used to complain that he had to help with the housework, but now that I actually see what he gets up to, I see he spends maybe an hour actually doing anything work-related. He's probably depressed.
Are you just sitting there watching him work all day?
Yeah, the whole time she's like taking notes. She's like,
It's weird. You know what it sounds like to me? Like you don't respect your husband in any way.
I think that you guys have both been stuck with each other.
Yeah.
I honestly, this is so run-of-the-mill. Like, this is so standard for that time of being frustrated with the people that you're stuck with. I think it's careless of him to go out with his friends during a pandemic, especially while we have a toddler at home and while I'm taking care of my disabled at-risk mother.
Oh, that's pertinent information.
The toddler at home and your at-risk mother at home changes everything for me. Don't go to the lake house.
My husband and son never visit my mother face-to-face anymore, but if he gave me the virus, I could give it to her. And it's unfair for him to leave me alone to take care of our son and my mother for the whole weekend. I'm already incredibly stressed, and he's just gonna leave me alone to go goof around at some lake? He keeps saying he misses going out with friends, like I don't too. But I'm being an adult about it and working even harder, and he decides to go on vacation. So am I the a-hole for not letting him go? And just to clarify, we're both men. Someone on the original post thought I was either lying or reversed the genders to make some point that sometimes people are attracted to the same gender.
Sometimes people are J.
Sometimes they are J.
With a G.
And we've got an update, but what do you think, everyone?
We all lived through it.
Everyone lived through it, unless you're younger than the time in which you wouldn't have lived through it.
You've got a baby.
Get a baby.
And an at-risk mother. Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry. Everyone had to hunker down. It sucked. Oh, someone's really upset because he's been confined in his space for so long? I'm sorry. You're gonna have to deal with it.
You've got a baby.
I think we could have found a compromise where you say, hey, like, I want you to be able to let off some steam, but, you know, I need help. I can't do this alone. Maybe that's, you know, instead of a whole weekend, you socially distance, hang out with them, or maybe we all get tested and then hang out. Not necessarily, you know, saying the whole weekend or something, but like there are compromises that you could make where he still gets to see his friends, but in a safer way.
Do it via Zoom.
There were ways to do it safely and like distance and stuff, and do it outside, masked up and stuff, all that jazz, especially if you have people that are at risk. I understand where you're both coming from. I don't think there is an a-hole here. I think you're both stressed and you're both stuck.
Yeah, and guess what?
Everyone else was too.
Everyone else was too, and yeah, it's just a time of, it was unfair.
Yeah.
Sorry. You can
Don't worry, OP. It gets better. But we got an update.
Does it though?
Oh, it didn't get better. We're getting a divorce.
Oh.
Oh.
So a lot of the comments said I was an a-hole and my husband probably needed a vacation from me, and that was apparently true. A week after I posted the original, he sent me a 17-paragraph email about how unhappy he was, about how he doesn't blame me, but then gave 10,000 reasons I'm actually a horrible piece of crap.
Oh, my favorite movie, 1,000 Reasons I Hate About You.
10,000 reasons I think you smell like poo.
He was basically begging to go away for some time, 2 weeks, he suggested. The last paragraph was suggestions he had to make him going away more pandemic feasible. As soon as I finished the email, I called the husband of the woman he planned to go on this trip with and asked him how he felt about his wife spending up to 2 weeks away from him with another man. He was fine with it, said they had already talked about it. He said it's fine because their jobs make them spend plenty of time apart already, which honestly should be a reason to avoid unnecessary time apart. He also told me that my husband apparently called his wife and cried because he couldn't stand it here anymore.
He's throwing a temper. It was a temper tantrum. What?
I couldn't speak to my husband for the rest of the day beyond pissed. Neither of us could sleep though, and we had a long discussion, not an argument. We were both shockingly calm about it in the early morning. We agreed to let the vacation issue rest for a while and instead work on the root problems of our marriage. Not even 2 days later, he brought up going again, and honestly, I freaked out a little. I was harsh, but I could tell that our relationship was hanging by the threads. Letting him leave would mean it was basically over. It's never over with us, because we've always got more full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. There's a little bit left to the story, but OP, he's frustrated. His husband's frustrated. Everyone's frustrated. And it seems like you never got over that frustration.
I have no window into this relationship outside of this story, as do the rest of us. However, I don't want to be married to you either.
Yeah, I don't know.
I picked up on a vibe that you don't really respect your husband. You didn't before, you don't now, and you won't after. And that's not to say your husband doesn't have problems.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. 17 paragraphs is not just nothing. So there's gotta be more here than what we got, because 17 paragraphs, it can't be repetitive.
Yeah.
Did he do it in MLA format? I don't know.
I don't think that was a creative writing assignment.
Yeah.
I think there's probably been a lot lurking underneath. Yeah, you know, some people aren't meant for each other. Because you wrote that stuff before y'all were getting divorced. And if I found out that my partner wrote about me that way, we'd have very large problems.
Yeah.
Just you think that my career is like nothing.
Yeah,
and
I
that
don't
I'm
do
like
any work.
like a dumb little baby who can't do anything around the house.
Yeah, it just seems like it wasn't a super healthy marriage, and that was exacerbated when you guys were stuck together. But I changed my mind a few days later. He seemed miserable. If staying with me was so effing awful, I just couldn't force him. That wouldn't help anybody. He, his friend, and our son went to the lake house and planned to stay for 2 weeks. It's been 6. Honestly, it's been nice to have the place to myself. We've been in touch every night, but I haven't missed having him around at all. I miss my son, but the absence of my partner means nothing.
That really tracks to how I was picking up the vibe.
Seems like that settles it.
You just didn't like your husband at all.
The first week I was very mad. I thought about it all the time. I made him update me constantly on his and my son's every move, just waiting for him to F up so I could bring them both home.
Also, not how that works, right? Temporally, he is in a different place. You don't have like a fishing pole to just reel him back in.
But then I just stopped caring. He texted me earlier tonight that we should probably just end things. Fine with me. Dang, yeah, y'all are, ooh.
Yeah, that really goes to show up. I'm sorry.
It was not doing well long before then.
I did pull up this post, and I do have some comments that I do want to read that are very pertinent because it kind of just supports our theories.
Yeah.
I'll go and read them. Deleted says, not the a-hole, but this bit concerns me, and it's a bit where it says, and here's the most ridiculous assertion of his. It's harder on him now due to the quarantine. I know this doesn't sound ridiculous because it's hard to break a routine and get used to staying home, right? But my husband has always worked from home, and he's used to taking care of our son during the day. I'm the one who's had to get used to a completely new routine and learn to work over my 4-year-old's need for attention. And he doesn't even do much anyway.
Dang.
His routine has changed. You're there, judging him. I know there are quite a few couples who love each other, but are struggling to adjust to be around one another all day. And OP, you're mean. I've never been a digital artist, so I have no idea how stressful it is or not. How do you know it's not stressful? It's just like going on about like, you're talking about this and talking about him in a very certain tone and way.
A complete lack of respect.
Didn't seem like you liked him.
And guess what? There's another comment here from ha 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 ha. Oh no. Being a digital artist is absolutely a stressful job, and doing any job while caring for a child is exceptionally harder. OP, you are finding it challenging to manage your child's need for attention while working? Well, you should appreciate your husband all the more because he's always doing that. And before this, he didn't have another parent at home to split the work like you do. Jeez, the lack of respect in that statement.
But that's the end of that story. Hope you're, doing better now.
Go OP's husband, go.
But that's the end of that story. And I watched my husband affectionately stroke the waitress's arm, and my world flipped upside down.
That is the reddest of all red flags.
For context, all my friends are man-hater misandrists. I've, 28 female, always been the one talking about how dreamy and perfect my husband, 28 male, is. How he'd never cheat on me. How our lives revolve around each other, etc. And how men like him exist and deserve love. By the way, this comes from Kurara. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Dakota.
I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice scoofly, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, if you were to hear him talk of our relationship, you think he couldn't breathe without me by his side. He also behaved this way, always there whenever I needed him, always giving me foot rubs, giving me full body massages, and whatnot, just out of love. Today, the two of us went out to a pub. We met another couple and started to drink together. It was fun, and I was talking to some other women there as well. Our drinks ran out, so I went to get more. The bartender was his sister's friend, so I made polite conversation. However, mid-conversation, I noticed that the bartender looked uncomfortable and was eyeing our table. I followed his gaze and saw my husband fondling a waitress's elbow. This shook me completely because he's the type to never touch anyone. By his own standards, the waitress wasn't someone he'd even consider. I went up to him and playfully kicked him. Before doing so, I'd looked around, and the couple we were talking to looked really awkward and uncomfortable. They immediately left, and the girl gave me a really pitiful look and gave me her contact number, asking me to contact her if anything. In that moment, I didn't take it all in and was focused on playing it all off as a joke. My husband immediately got to my side and acted like nothing happened. I told him to stay away from me softly, so no one would hear, but he kept acting like he didn't know what was going on. I don't remember what happened next, but I was walking in the rain, crying, and ashamed that I stood up for him every time my friends told me never to trust a man. This is not the lesson that we're supposed to be learning here. This is not the lesson is not that your friends are right. It's just that this guy in particular sucks.
No, our lesson was that the world is all just absolutes.
I had no one to call or talk to because I was just so ashamed. I ended up at a park, and I guess I sat down for a few hours. Now I'm home, and it's 5 a.m. He never got home. I don't know what to do. I'm really boiling. It was all just a figment of my imagination, because if it wasn't, our relationship is over, and I'm never getting over this. You're never getting over this? You will, girlie, you will. It's just hard right now. I'd never forgive such behavior. You shouldn't. Just leave him. Just leave him.
I think
and
that's
we'll find
what
someone new.
OP's talking about.
Oh, like, I thought she was saying, like, I will remember this for the rest of my life.
It's more just like,
Okay.
this is something that will ruin our relationship.
Yes, as it should. This is weird. I'd never forgive such behavior. Please help. Could this be my imagination? Should I ask the bar for CCTV footage? Or am I just making more of a fool of myself? Please help. Until this point, my husband has been the type to only be attracted to me. He wouldn't even get turned on by adult films. Only me. And yet, here we are. I'd really love some advice. Just that I'd never forgive him touching another woman, so keeping that in mind, is this too much? And we've got an update.
Keeping what in mind? That you literally said that the thing that you saw that happened would be a deal breaker?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it is. So that's what that is
That's
then.
it. That's it. It's the end. And I guess OP is just asking, like, would this be crazy? Like, no, because that's your deal breaker.
I think OP is trying to 1984 herself.
Yeah, she's like, that didn't happen, right? If I don't believe that it happened, that it didn't happen, right? It happened. You saw it. And the other girl saw it. Update, my perspective I leave the table to get our drinks. I'm talking to his friend, the bartender. The bartender looks at our table and his smile drops immediately. I turn around and my husband is stroking the waitress's arm, looking up at her, holding eye contact while she's blushing at him and giggling. She's really close to his face, looking into his eyes. I go up to him and he immediately jumps away from her and acts guilty. Then I leave distraught. He doesn't come out. He's missing for almost an hour. When he comes back, he's crying and apologizing. I ask him where he was, what he's apologizing for, and he doesn't answer. He doesn't give me space to think. I force the space, then discuss the matter with him as follows. Note, my husband is a very emotional and sensitive person in general, and when he's anxious or stressed about our relationship specifically, he starts to ramble, talk utter gibberish, shivers and shakes, does illogical stuff, so not everything he says makes sense.
Oh, so he just gets overly emotional and turns you into the person who has to go, no, it's okay. I'm sorry. No, you'll be okay.
And then he stops immediately when it's like, okay, thanks. It
He
worked.
goes, that's all I need to hear.
Great, thank you.
The previous night, when he got back, he was crying and shaking. I told him he embarrassed me by touching a woman like that in front of everyone, and how insulting it was to do right in front of me, how I felt ashamed and so hurt by his behavior. He kept saying no, and then apologizing. I asked him why, and he rambled about his hometown and the city we were in, and kept saying illogical BS like the bar, the glass. Yeah, that doesn't make sense, bud.
He's like, it was all just a misunderstanding. You don't understand. It was an illusion.
I told him I couldn't be with him because this wasn't the premise of a relationship and I wanted him out. He looked at me with really wide eyes and asked if I loved him. I said I couldn't love a man who touches women so freely. He started mumbling something and then said, "You don't love me?"
He said, do you love me?
And when I said no, he ran to the toilet but threw up on the way. Yeah, I think he just has like crazy anxiety. Phew. I heard him crying while trying to clean up. I'm saying trying because he just dumped his water on top of the puke and then tried, ew, gross. As I said, when it comes to stuff like this, his brain turns off. I cleaned up. He kept following me around and fidgeting. When I got into bed, he sat on the floor near the foot of the bed. I woke up to the sound of something moving near the bed, and he was there, still on the ground, kind of curled up. This is so pathetic.
He's a puppy.
I took my things and went to our guest bedroom and tried to get some sleep, but he followed me there and sat on the floor near the foot of the bed again. I told him to leave and get some sleep, that we'll talk once we've rested and have eaten. He refused and just stayed there. I finally physically dragged him out because I wanted to be alone. I peeked in the room twice in 2 hours, and both times he was just sitting on the ground with his head in his hands. I read through all your comments, and it seems pretty split. Many people didn't believe that demi-spiciality exists. The few that did told me it was over, and I agreed. Maybe OP mentioned that?
I don't. Yeah, that
Must have been in the comments.
must have been in the comments.
It's people who are only attracted to Demi Moore.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Ashton Kutcher used to be that.
And anyone who wants to know, it just means that you're only attracted to people spicily when you have a romantic connection. Many said he didn't do anything wrong, and maybe I misunderstood. Based on that, I gave him a list of questions and asked him to answer them one by one directly without mentioning anything irrelevant, and if I had a question, we discuss it before moving to the next. This will be long because it's our whole conversation shortened into a list. Does he know the waitress or have any sort of relationship with her? OP said no. When I left and was talking to the bartender, the waitress came up to them and started chatting them up. She asked where each person was from, and that's all he knew of her. Was he attracted to her? If so, does this mean we have a disconnect in our understanding of our relationship? OP said he wasn't. It was impossible. Our relationship is exactly as we discussed it to be, and he could never be attracted to anyone else. Why was he touching her? OP says he said he wasn't touching her like that, and all he wanted to do was get her attention to order shots. He's like, I just
want your
I needed to
shots.
caress her elbow to get the shots. Everyone knows. They do that here.
Jameson and pickle juice, please.
Why would he need to touch someone to get their attention when they're already at the table? OP says, no actual answer. He doesn't know why he did that, and he doesn't usually touch any woman, but he's used to doing it to men. I'm sorry.
Does he
to
do
men,
wait,
you go, hey, can I grab something from you?
That's interesting context, actually.
I've actually seen him put his arm around his friends friends, pat them on the back and such. He does seem kind of comfortable with touching men. That's so different to what you described he
Okay.
did with the waitress.
I am now, everything is on the table. Nothing is as it seems. What you just described is just human interaction.
Yes.
I don't know. You said the bartender looked weird. You said they were in each other's faces. You said he was stroking her arm.
Was it stroking
Stroking
or
it-
was it tapping?
Yeah, because
Like-
it's a big difference if it's like really like sensual or like just like, hey, yeah, like thanks for coming, but I need a video of this. Because it also said was touching her elbow. Like that's a weird thing
Yeah.
to do. That doesn't give like
It's weird. If he's never done it before, then what made him do it yesterday? What was so special about that situation? OP says, mentally, I didn't even register her as a woman.
Here's
I
a
didn't
weird-
even see her as a woman. She was just a blob.
This is just getting worse
this
and
is just
worse.
weird.
Why was his hand going up and down her elbow? OP says he said it wasn't. He just touched her once for a split second. I argue that I was there and that I saw it. And if he claims my eyes are making stuff up, then he should get me the footage to prove otherwise, or I'll believe exactly what I saw. If he didn't do anything wrong, why did he immediately look guilty and come stand next to me afterward? OP says he was sloshed, so he didn't realize until I punted him. He thought I was upset about the act of touching her, even for the single moment, not that I thought he was stroking her arm.
Are you sloshed?
Who's
Have you
telling
been
the
getting
truth?
sloshy?
Who's telling the truth?
Because
I don't know anymore.
I'm a handsy drinker, but not in like a get touchy and flirty with a stranger at like the bar. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Where was he when I left, and why did he come back so late? OP says he followed me out, but the wait staff called him back because he left his jacket in the bar's storage bag. He was distraught and didn't want to lose sight of me, so he came back out absent-mindedly bringing the storage bag with him, and I found this bag at the entrance of our home with the bar logo on it. He lost sight of me and then was walking around looking for me. He tried to call me, but my phone had passed away. He got home and I wasn't there, so he went out looking again. After an hour or so, he got back and heard me crying in the shower and left immediately because he felt guilty and like he shouldn't be there. He was sitting outside our front door. He used to smoke 6 years ago and doesn't anymore, but last night he went and bought some cigarettes and I saw the multiple cig butts and tissues outside. If he claims he wasn't stroking her or even touching her for a while, then what was it that I saw?
whoa.
Yeah. A whole
One
second.
second?
A whole second.
I don't understand what's going on here.
Blah. OP says he's not sure, but it must be that he touched her for a moment and then left his hand hanging in the air an inch or so away from her, focused on explaining the order, and since his hand was in the air lifted like that, it was wavering and might have looked like he was stroking her. I don't know. This guy might be a really good manipulator. Because even now, I'm confused.
yeah, the waitress
Yeah.
was really
She
bothered.
changed her story about the waitress. In the first part of the story, it was the waitress was like weird and said, "Here's my number.
I
You
actually
can call
don't know.
me."
I don't
And
know
then
if that
the
was
second part of the
waitress.
story, who was that?
I don't know. That was actually confused me. They were talking to some people, and then a girl said, she just said a girl said it. So I don't actually
what
know.
does she have to do with it?
Yeah, I don't know where this girl came from. It wasn't really clear.
Because in the first part of the story,
Yeah.
it sounded like the waitress was not
Yeah.
into it.
Yeah.
The second part of the story,
She
the waitress is
was.
in his face smiling,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
I
it's
don't
like
know.
it's a waitress. You guys are at a bar, a restaurant. Like
I'm going to go back
you've been
and see.
drinking.
Yeah. 'Cause
I
I was gonna-
assume both of you.
I was gonna say my sister and my mom do this to waitresses and waiters. Like, my mom's very friendly. Like, calls waitresses and waiters honey and like sweetie,
Oh.
and
okay.
like
Mm.
pats them on like on the shoulder or like no, like no, like I'm sorry, like kind of thing. But like nothing sensual. It's like it's very sweet and sincere.
Yeah.
Why was he crying and apologizing if all he did was touch her for a moment to get her attention? OP says he was sorry for causing me that much hurt and was extremely guilty. He felt that even if it was just an instance and didn't mean anything, he shouldn't have touched anyone anyway. And in the end, it caused a misunderstanding that hurt me, so he couldn't deal with the guilt.
This relationship is so toxic. Y'all need to just break
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
He can't touch another person.
But I feel like he's lying.
And I feel like
he's lying.
we need to know, was OP also partaking in drink? Then all of this is absolute nonsense. Don't wonder your boyfriend has a anxiety problem. If this is what happens when you guys go out for a night out and he calls the waitress over and he's like, hey, blah, 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 and you're like, I saw you stroking her elbow. I'm done with you. And then you leave.
I don't know who
That'd
to
be a
believe.
mess.
I don't know who to believe.
This whole thing is a huge mess.
Does he find other women attractive or watch spicy stuff? In actuality, was he just lying about that to appeal to me? OP says he finds it gross. He doesn't feel attracted to anyone other than me and that he needs us to be together. He doesn't think he will ever find anyone attractive other than me. He said he does know when a woman is conventionally attractive, but the idea of touching or kissing her would make him throw up. Well, he did throw up. He scratched his neck when he said this, which is a tell for when he's grossed out by something. So I do believe his idea of attraction is the same as mine, just still not sure if he's attracted to just me.
Is post written by robots?
Well, it's because they're saying they're demisexual.
If you're so tuned in
Yeah.
to your husband that you know his tells and his giveaways, how is this story even happening?
Well, I think she knows his tells, and I think that's why she's like, you're lying. But then he's so... I mean, like, either OP did not see it correctly and is overreacting, or this guy is such a good manipulator and gaslighter that he is successfully gaslighting even us.
If there's a
Yeah.
video of it, I want the
Give
video.
me the video.
evidence.
I need it.
Because
Did you guys know that eyewitness testimony is infamously inaccurate?
True. He doesn't see the appeal in watching a random woman's unclothed body, and the thought of wanting to see it when she doesn't even know of his existence is a very pathetic idea to him. Even worse, if he were to find her attractive and touch himself to the side of some other random man with her, he said nothing would be more shameful and pathetic than that, and that he will get me the site list from our network providers for both his phone and the Wi-Fi. Why did the girl give me that pitiful look and her number? Not sure about the pitiful look, but they had to get going since they had plans on Sunday and she wanted to hang out more, but her boyfriend was pushing them out, so possibly that.
Yeah, pitiful look because they're like, oh God, this is a mess. Whatever's going on here. Ugh. Yeah, we're going to go. Here, bye.
I texted her somewhat casually asking if she got back safe and that it was nice meeting her. She said she had a great time and wants to hang out next week and that we should do a double date. I said sure and said I was really buzzed and hoped that my husband or I didn't make a fool of ourselves, and she was absolutely normal about it, talking about how she was even more wasted and that it was a fun night, so I don't think she has anything to say to me. If she really did, I'd guess she'd ask to meet alone instead of doing a double date thing. I asked her if she remembered me punting my husband, and she said, yeah, the waitress wouldn't take her eyes off him, was giggling and blushing at everything he said, even though he was just talking about a city. She didn't seem to know we were together, probably since she only appeared when I left, so it was a necessary wife launch, in her words. My husband called the bar and asked if they had the footage of us last night, giving them the time frames, saying I lost my phone and he wanted to check at what point it went missing. They said they don't have a clear view of our area because it was crowded and we were in a corner. So the only thing visible would be the top of our heads, and also they can't share footage like that. But if it's really necessary, we could file a missing belongings ticket, and if they have that, they could share it with us. I'm gonna share it with you guys that you can listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio. I genuinely have never finished a story and been so confused. I don't know. I do not know the answer. I
do,
really
man.
don't.
You're both exhausting and you should both be single.
I think that is the answer. I think I don't know what happened tonight or last whatever night this was, but I do know that you should not be together anymore. I don't think this is healthy.
You guys go out on a double date.
Yeah.
You guys go out and then you cause this at the double date.
I think
you
this is
were
over.
looking for something so hard. And also, I was really buzzed. Shut up. No one says that.
Yeah, they do.
yeah, they do.
A lot of people
you were
say that.
really something else. I know what you were. You weren't that.
People say they were buzzed though.
Yeah, but when you're really buzzed, what are you?
You're wasted.
You're the next thing.
Yeah.
You're the thing that comes after that.
Anyway, we got a little bit left. However, I guess if what my husband is saying is true, even with the footage, what we'd be able to see would be his hand on her arm the way I saw it. I still don't know what to do or whether I should believe him or not. He's never done anything like this before, so it could be true that this is a misunderstanding. But then again, he never touches women at all because he knows that women don't like being touched by strange men, and yet that was a first. In the end, I'm still not sure of what to do. I'm not sure if my feelings of distress are clouding my judgment. Is this legitimate? I'm overthinking it because I was ready to end it all yesterday and I'm still reeling back. Or is this an obvious lie that I'm unable to see for the same reason? I have no clue.
I don't know if like he's never done this.
I
If
don't know.
And you know who this guy is. You've been with him. You know, like Dakota said. And this guy's. It seems like he's fighting tooth and nail to be like, no. Like, I want to get footage because I saw Coconut Cowpokes. Like, if he's really wanting to get the footage and wanting to
Yeah.
show you the proof,
You know what you
I
should
am
do?
less certain.
like it's.
Just break up with him and go be what you were meant to be.
But
which
also,
is a
like
misandrist
this,
with all of your misandrist friends.
this is like the most like insane thing to do to a person.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
why
know.
it's also a weird thing. It's like he didn't do that. No one does that. That's not a thing people do. Also, the waitress isn't just gonna sit there and let him finagle her elbow. Like it's gonna be like, oh, this is just yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
Go
the
hang
answer.
out with all your girly pops who hate men unabashedly, and just do that and be single with them, and enjoy your life. Just do that.
But that's the end of that story. My affair partner got possessive and sent my husband months of videos and messages.
Oh, what? That's crazy. They never do that.
Me, 23 female, and my husband, 26 male, have been married for around 3 months, but we've been together ever since my sophomore year of high school, his senior year. We've done everything together. When he went to college, we made sure that I would go to the same school. He even turned down a better scholarship to go to a school that I had a better chance of getting into, since he was one of the smart kids and I was one of the more average kids. By the way, this comes from PS5 Delayed.
Wow.
And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Dakota.
I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. And Dopey says, when he finished, he immediately started working so that he could support us. And I dropped out because he knew I hated school. He works as a software engineer right now, leaving the company unnamed, obviously. Sorry for the long background, but I just wanted to show that I do love him with everything in my being and everything he's done for me. And I wouldn't give him up for anything.
Except
Cheating.
an affair.
Yes, I would cheat on him. I stay at home and take care of the typical cleaning, cooking, and house maintenance, so we have a good relationship. And we both put in a lot of work to make sure things stay afloat. Before I get into this, I should say that my physical attraction to him wasn't the same as when we were in college. Ever since he started working, he started to work out less and doesn't come to the gym with me as often. He's not fat or anything, but it's obvious he doesn't have as much muscle, and the things he had early in college, like his six-pack, which he knows I used to love, they're all long gone. Maybe less working out reduced his testosterone as well, because the spicy sleep isn't as frequent, and when we do have it, it's not like it used to be. Starting a couple of months ago, one of his better friends, that I will call David, started coming over to hang out. Usually, I don't like his friends in our place so frequently,
But David is hot.
but David has a six-pack. But David and I instantly clicked. My husband was so happy to see that I finally got along with his friends. Not gonna be that happy. But then, as usual, he ended up going back to work and spending less and less time with me, which honestly might have been one of the reasons I cheated. I hate you.
But then, as usual, he went to his job where he worked to provide for both of us.
I hate you. You're the a-hole. You are the
Then
a-hole.
he started doing that thing where he was gainfully employed and he abandoned me.
Yeah, well, I just took care of the house all day. That was my only thing.
I think I've been more and more leaning into the concept that really almost everything is a gray area and is so dependent on context and personal, experience and understanding of like each other, especially in the context of like a relationship, and then like staying with a partner who cheats on you. But like one of the number one things, because it's like, a lot of people struggle with that. If they do stay with a partner who cheats on them, then it's like they're getting judged because it's like, wow, why would you do that? But it's like, every single situation is different. But I feel like it's so telling when the OP is setting all of this up by being like, yeah, this is all the stuff that he did wrong that made me cheat, instead of these are all the things that I was messed up about
Yes.
that led me to make this horrible mistake.
Yes. When we were about to get married, he promised me we wouldn't fall out of touch like in the movies, and that he wouldn't abandon me for work. But that's exactly what I feel like happened. David started swinging by a couple of hours before my husband got home to wait for him comfortably. So we started hanging out. We did everything together that I felt like my husband should have taken the time to do with me. We binged Netflix, talked about so much, went out to movies, and whenever people saw us, they said I looked happier. I hate you. And at that point, I think I was. David started swinging by to hang out with me more than my husband. So he came earlier and earlier. And soon it was just at the beginning of the day, as long as he didn't have class, since he's working on his master's. One morning when he came by and we started to binge Netflix, I didn't have as much clothes on as usual because he came at like 9, which was slightly earlier than expected. Do you do anything?
Both of you need friends.
Genuinely, do you do anything?
What
OP?
hobby? Yeah, what hobbies do you have?
She slowly puts on clothes as the day goes
She just
on.
puts on more clothes.
That's what OP does.
But I was already so comfortable with him, it didn't matter. I only had a big shirt on and some underwear.
Ah, see, now that's where you're wrong. It did matter. It did matter a lot, actually, because that's called respect.
And I didn't even realize until it was too late that I wasn't wearing a bra, so I felt awkward.
No, you didn't.
Then David, as a joke, took off his clothes and only had a shirt and his boxers and climbed into bed next to me saying it was undies time. And he was abnormally close, but I ended up moving in even closer. I hate you guys.
This cannot be real. I'm sorry. No way someone goes, it's undies time. Like, and then,
No,
like,
I can hear that. I can hear that.
it's undies time.
It's undies time.
And I can hear someone saying
Yeah,
that.
let's go ahead and put the stamp. We're moving forward with the understanding that this is rage bait.
Yeah. He put his hand on my thigh, and I ended up moving to sit in between his legs. I hate you. And before I even thought about it, he turned me around and, ew.
And before I even knew it, we were like,
They were
what do you think our
kissing.
kids would look like?
I didn't intend for it to go further than that, but he was everything that my husband wasn't anymore.
Oh, yeah. Don't
My
you
husband never gave me undies time.
All I wanted was undies time.
He was busy at work.
Every day I would wake up and do nothing, and my husband would go to
I
work.
was so neglected.
And I could tell he really wanted me more than my own husband had. So we ended up having spicy sleep throughout the day. And he gave me the opportunity to feel ways and do things I hadn't done in so long. I thought I would feel bad right after, but I didn't. Oh, you're so terrible. I was only really excited that I was desired again and satisfied again. David and I continued this relationship for months, and I ended up giving him the nickname Hubby, because I really felt like he was my true husband the way he treated me. But of course he started to get possessive like men do.
This cannot be. This has to be.
And
The man I was calling my husband be getting a little possessive.
And this is where the huge problems began. Whenever we had spicy sleep, he wanted my wedding ring off, and I ended up losing it. You lost your ring?
Did you lose it in an orifice?
And my husband immediately noticed because I made a point of never having it off, but that was only the first thing. David told me to stop kissing my husband or really treating him like he was my husband at all, and I did it. I treated my husband like he was a crappy husband and a person for leaving me so alone because David had manipulated me into believing that.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. So now we've gone from, it was my husband's fault. Oh, no. It's David's fault.
Yeah.
It's David's fault, who I'm cheating on my husband with, for making me treat my husband badly.
Yes.
Bro, you've been treating your husband badly for months.
David had the cheat code. He just knew you were a sucker for undies time.
I went back on birth control and we never used protection because David didn't like it. And I never objected because I just enjoyed the feeling of being wanted again. I hate you. I stopped kissing my husband and I put as much distance between us in bed as possible. And I made a point to never have spicy sleep with him no matter what. I called him fat and ugly, and when I got angry or was upset, and it just sent my marriage into ruins.
Oh,
You're
no.
acting like your marriage was good before. David was still around, and I guess my husband realized how lovey-dovey I was with David.
Yeah, was it
were
when-
you hiding it, Will?
Was it when you were like, oh my God, hubby's coming
Hubby.
over?
And he was like,
Huh?
sorry?
No,
Huh?
you don't understand it. It's an inside joke when we do undies time.
Yeah.
There's an inside joke to it.
Yeah. Because he started making accusations. Of course, David got possessive again, so when my husband told him he couldn't come over anymore, he sent my husband months worth of pictures, videos, and messages we had made and sent each other as some kind of sick payback. When my husband got home, he was infuriated and screamed and threw things, and I had no idea what to do.
I love that she framed that as a sick form of payback when
Yeah.
it was probably more just like, I mean, maybe it was just an attack of consciousness at some point.
Yeah.
We just went, oh my God, what have I done to one of my best friends?
Yeah. Or it was also him wanting to just have, the relationship with her and trying to break up this relationship. I realized that David didn't really care about me as much as my husband did if he was willing to expose me like that. You're
Yikes.
crazy. You're so
Ooh.
crazy.
Opie's
Uh-oh,
like,
I got some
I'm not
bites.
the villain. I'm not the villain here.
I'm getting big bites.
My husband started yelling about how hard he was working as if I didn't help around the house. Literally, what do you do?
Cheat.
Please.
She cheats.
I get dressed.
And I watch Netflix
No,
and I cheat with
barely.
David.
She barely gets dressed.
Yeah,
now.
I bet she doesn't even get dressed anymore.
Yeah, OP sings tub thumping like, I get knocked down. And that's the only part that
I
they
lo-
sing.
World's shortest song.
And he broke a lot of my personal items. He was crying in the corner, and I was so scared because he kept randomly lashing out again. Randomly?
So raw XD, so random.
He's so crazy. And I cheat on him. He kept asking me questions, half yelling, half crying about how often and how long it had been going on. And I broke down and started crying too and told him everything. He looked at the videos on his phone, getting angry again because I had told David I loved him and that he was better than my husband and other things that insulted him. In the videos, he saw that we were having spicy sleep in our marital bed and that we never used protection, and he always finished in OP. And I could see something in him just break. Maybe it was because he was my first time back in high school and I didn't let him do any of that until we were married.
Or maybe because it's your husband.
And you cheated on him.
Huh.
Thankfully, the neighbors called the police due to the yelling, although they took his side a little more than mine.
Shocker.
And they asked me if I had somewhere else to stay. So I don't know if they hospitalized him or not. Now I live with my mother and I'm working part-time again. I regret everything. Aww.
Aw.
Do you? It doesn't sound like, it sounds like you really just regret
That you have to work now.
that you got caught and your husband was like, yeah, that's not okay at all.
Though I still haven't been able to quite distance myself from David because I think he really started to care for me once my husband tossed me aside, and he's been here for me. I hate you.
You're saying your husband tossed you aside? This is definitely just RB.
After my husband abandoned me, after he made me get a job.
Yeah. It's time to go fishing, ladies and gentlemen, because we've got bait to spare.
David calls me wifey now, and it hurts because I really just want my husband back. We haven't got officially divorced, but he won't talk to me or return my messages or anything at all. If I send a third party, he just tells them to tell me to get a lawyer because he wants a divorce. Wow.
How could he? He's such a bad guy.
What? I mean, this guy's so unpredictable.
Wow,
He's unhinged.
random. He's crazy. I don't know if I'll do well in the divorce since he paid for everything. And because of David, he has a mountain of evidence on me cheating. I really just want this all to be done and over. What can I do to get him back? What? And if I don't, how will I do in a divorce? Huh?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, there's going to be a real big winner and there's going to be a real big loser. I'll let you.
And you'll be a big
Ah.
winner if you listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. And we've got an update, but what do you mean?
Hey, buddy, you just blown from Stupid Town?
Yeah.
Because you did. You're not getting your husband back. And you're not going to do very well in the divorce.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess
Oh.
it depends on the state. Some places
Don't have.
you
like-
just get
yeah.
50-50, which is more than you deserve.
Yeah. It does seem like potentially because she brought up the evidence that it might be a state, unless she just doesn't know anything about it, which is possible.
Well, good news is you've got your next husband
Lined
lined
up.
up, and he's perfect for you.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he won't cheat on you.
No. David would never have undies time with anybody but you.
Yeah, undies time is just...
Oh boy. Let's get into this update. After writing this post, I was able to get into contact with my husband's sister, and apparently he's not doing very well mentally. What? He hasn't been eating and has lost a ton of weight. She said all he does is work and sleep and maybe eat every other day. Oh, and she said I also did nearly unfixable damage to his confidence because now he's afraid to go out in public because he thinks people will see him as a joke. Honestly, I don't see how his mental condition is my fault. It's his response and his choice to do what he's doing. She still wants me to sign the papers and is threatening me with the evidence that was sent to him by David. I'm going to hold off on any attempt to get him back until I can assure that he's not going to do anything drastic, like on the night he found out. That's the end of that story.
My friend ruined our resort getaway and made everything about her.
Of course she did.
So, I, female 35, am currently on holiday at a resort with my friend, also female 35, who I love dearly.
No, they're both 35.
At the hotel, there are a few coveted cabanas that are first come, first served. This morning, I got up early and forewent breakfast, hoping to get one for us. By the way, this comes from user Bad Lawn on Holiday. Wow. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Keon.
I'm Riley.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do. So let us know what you do in the comments. Pretty please. Already, we're reserved with towels. The pool manager comes and I ask him about it because they have signs all over that if the cabana is unoccupied for more than 30 minutes, they will remove your stuff so someone else can use it. The manager tells me everyone came down at 6 a.m., put down their towels, and went back to bed. It is around 8, so I ask him if that means they should be free now because of the 30-minute rule. He does agree and frees up one for us. I lie down, my friend joins me, and I tell her the story. We agree that should someone come and try to claim it, we will show them the sign and point them to the manager. An hour later, a woman comes up and says, "We're in her cabana." I tell her that the manager freed it up for us because of the 30-minute rule. But she calls the manager over, who tells us we can switch to the next one, which was also now empty for the last 3 hours. The woman says, no, her friend is reserving that one. I'm a bit annoyed at this point and say again, well, there's a rule and I don't think it's fair we have to move. My friend then chimes in and says, it's fine, we will leave. I accept, I don't want to argue further. We pack our stuff and then my friend walks up to the woman and apologizes.
Okay, this better not ruin your resort thing.
I mean, why are we doing that? No rules were broken. If anything, we followed the rules.
Yeah.
Why are we accommodating to this random woman who didn't wait her turn? Or she left. Sucks to suck. She says the manager said it's okay. We're really sorry. We didn't know it was occupied. The woman says it's okay and shoots me a dirty look.
Ew, Karen.
My friend and I are now in a different spot with a regular sun lounger, and I'm trying to get back to a regularly happy holiday mood, but I'm honestly hurt that she didn't have my back. She says I'm ruining our vacation by being so silent, and I get her point, but I'm trying really hard to not feel hurt. I feel she cared more about that lady she will never see again, not being mad at her than supporting me. And even though it shouldn't matter, it feels like I'm the angry black lady while my white friend is the good one. On the other hand, I understand it's stupid to be mad about a thing with a effing cabana. I know I will calm down in a bit, but am I the a-hole for needing some space and time to get over feeling unsupported? Sorry, this is longer than I thought it would be. There is a consensus, but we don't know yet.
I'm going to say you're the a-hole.
I think you're overreacting a little bit.
Yeah, what do the consensus say? Please do not say not the a-hole.
Not the a-hole.
Oh my god. That's crazy. She's the a-hole. Yeah, whatever.
Though, most people say the manager is, and to complain about him. Update. 1 hour later. Oh boy.
Golly.
Or 1 hour later, not even 5. Thought I'd give you a quick update.
Thank
Girl,
you.
why are you giving us an update? Go enjoy your vacation.
Honestly.
I'm thankful for all of your comments, and I just read all of them. So, my friend and I talked it out. I told her I was hurt by her not having my back, and she apologized and explained that this confrontation was just very uncomfortable for her. Some of you clocked it. She's in general rather conflict averse. She would rather not have been in the cabana than having to potentially deal with a guest. I told her I understand this, but I wish she had communicated this clearly to me. I would have left with her long before the lady came, because I think us enjoying the day is more important than having the softest bed around the pool. She understands why her apologizing felt like throwing me under the bus. Please don't think of her as a bad friend from this one interaction. You are only getting my point of view, and also, she's been a great friend to me for 12 years and is amazing in many, many ways.
Did other people blow this up? Did other people not see that this is just like a little thing and we should not even be here right now?
Yeah, this is like one little tiny thing that really, I don't know why we had to post about this.
Yeah.
This could have been like, okay, girly pop, that sucked, but we're on holiday. We go on holiday together every year, and this is the first time we had any issue with each other. So in summary, we are good and spend a nice day on the sun lounger. And by the way, you can spend a nice day with us.
You can spend a lot of nice days with us.
If you want. You don't have to. If you want to. And to do that, you can go to your favorite podcast app, such as iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and searching up OK Storytime. It's great.
It's amazing.
We have a little left here.
Dude, just do it.
I'm just gonna finish it up.
Yeah,
Because
I'm like, why?
out of all the things that I've read on Reddit, this was like a water drop.
Yeah,
Like we didn't spill anything. Like droplet hit the floor, and you're like, oh, okay,
cool.
yeah.
Why are we here?
Crazy to me was the Cabana lady actually walked up to us around noon and apologized. She said she hadn't known about the rule, apologized for how angry she was, and said she would have handled it better. She then came up again later and told us the cabana just freed up and they're holding it for us. We told her, no need, thanks, but it's really sweet of her. So sometimes people can really surprise you, and I'm very happy about how the rest of the day went. So thanks, Reddit. I'll toast to you with my next adult beverage. And there are some comments. One of the comments says, oh man, I would have stayed in the cabana regardless of whether my friends stayed or left. What a crappy thing to do. I'm better to enjoy my time following the rules, only to be disrupted by people who don't follow them and people who buckle to the first sign of trouble. No thanks. I'd rather stand my ground and ignore the haters. Comment number 3 says, I'm kind of on the friend side because the friend apologized and moved. They were able to remain in the pool without this other guest targeting them and making things unpleasant, which she absolutely would have. The only reason the other guest apologized and tried to make nice after was because the friend de-escalated and moved. Sticking to their pew-pews and insisting would have led to an entire vacation focused on this other woman having a vendetta whenever she saw them. If the manager hadn't been a goop and been more skillful at running interference with the other guest, it never should have gotten to this point where it was guest versus guest, and taking the blame for enforcing the rules to say, then the friend's apology and retreat would have not been needed, and they could have stayed in the first cabana without risk. But he sucked, so the friend's actions were necessary. You know, if we were in 10 years old, and this was the situation, this might be the end of the world. But we're 35 years old.
That's the first thing I said at the beginning. I was like, no, we are both 35.
And we go on vacation or holiday. We've been doing it for a while now, and this is the first rough patch.
And we've got some comments.
Like that voice was like British droopy dog.
Oh yeah, I know
That was so
exactly who you're talking
crazy.
about. I know exactly who you're talking about. I can see it.
Wow.
But we've got some comments from the video. My boyfriend's hiding something huge from me. And this was posted May 13th, 2025. And the TLDR comes from story 1. OP is about to meet her boyfriend's parents for the very first time after 4 years together. A Christmas trip to stay with his family for 2 whole weeks. Sweet, right? Well, halfway through their 6-hour flight, her boyfriend grabs her hand and casually drops a bomb. His parents think they have only been dating for 1 year. They don't know the two of them live together. They think he lives in a completely different city, has a completely different job, and a completely different degree. Oh, and he made up a totally fake backstory for OP too. All of it, one giant web of lies stretching back years. And now he's asking her to smile through a 2-week holiday and pretend every single word of it is true. OP is sitting in a hotel on Christmas, questioning everything she thought she knew about the man she loves, while his family is across town waiting for a dinner she refuses to show up to. So does she play along, blow everything up, or find a way out of this mess without burning it all down? If you're curious to know the full story, you can go watch the full video.
And
That
we got
sounds
some other
crazy.
comments.
We sure do. That one sounds crazy.
Yeah. This one's by Joy McClure 564. They say, okay, so the lying boyfriend has a fantastic career, but is lying to his parents, who are also sending him money, which he'd more likely need if he were a teacher than as senior project manager architect. What if he's simply lying because of greed? I think he didn't tell his parents that his living girlfriend of 7 years and he both have fantastic jobs and split the bills. He could be saying he lives in a different town because the other town could have higher cost of living, so he'd need more money to make it. Basically, every lie was to make him look poorer. Even the way his parents paid for his tickets to come visit, which they both have fantastic jobs, sounds bad.
Interesting. I did not read this story, so I don't know. But that is an interesting theory.
I also have no memory of this place.
Well, we also have another one from Jessig. .6791 says, have a bit of sympathy for the boyfriend when the mother admitted to OP that they did indeed pressure him and not the other kids to be a teacher like the dad. Hate that he lied, but the fear one can have for their parents or for disappointing can be extremely strong. And there was one last comment by Chelsea16 that says, he said he was a teacher, so they would keep sending him money because architects make more. Having a partner would also mean another potential income and less or no money. He already lied to OP because she doesn't know about any of this and can't even really give a good reason. If money is the issue, why do you still need them to send you money? If to keep them happy, obviously, BS, why would they not be happy about his occupation and him finding a partner in school? Agree with you guys, he is a proven liar, and if you choose to trust a liar after you know they are one, you will for sure be let down again. People who lie like that don't change, at least not without some sort of professional help, and I don't know if that helps them really.
And there you go.
It always depends. The
Yeah.
help only helps if you'll let the help help.
And those are words to live by. And the last words we'll leave you with, because those are the end of the comments and the end of this episode. So if you love us, make sure to subscribe.
We love you
And see you tomorrow.